intended for Tremont Brewer. On the coverage for RCC was Lovewind Don Willis. 2nd and 10 coming up. Offense pretty good for Mount Sac. They average about 41 points a game and nearly 458 yards. Pretty balanced, 285 rush yards, 272 pass yards. Here's the throw to the outside, incomplete. Intended receiver on the play was the tight end, Judah Enzua. Covered by Talib Salahuddin. He was out in pass coverage.
And they bring in the quick fellows for this 3rd down. See if they can make a stop here defensively.
3 receivers to the near side for Mount Sac. Jaden Allen in the middle of that formation. Here's the throw. And in and out of the hands on the coverage for RCC was Keithan Gordon. And that was Brewer again. Tremont Brewer, the freshman from Chicago out of Oswego East High. And 3 and out for Mount Sac.
Hey, I'll tell you what, they're throwing the football in the right spot, right in the hands. The problem is the receivers are already making their move to go downfield before catching the football. Can't take your eyes off the ball.
Ben DeKeeler, the punter, the freshman from Damien High School in Laverne, puts his foot into it. Back deep to receive is Norbert Espadron, fields it at the 26-yard line. Trying to make a move up, and he'll be down right there at the 28. Making the tackle on the play is Bryce Felt, the long snapper. He's also out of Damien Laverne, and that's where RCC will start it up. So a pretty good kick, a 49-yard kick, and a return of about 3 yards for RCC. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. They already lead this one 3-0, Jeff.
Yeah, and that was not a moonshot kick. That was kind of a line drive, but it did its duty.
Here comes the offense having to play a little bit longer field. Strong, the lone setback. Here's McClure in motion. They'll give to Strong. He'll bounce left. Tries to get outside 30, 35, 40. Still on his feet. Gets to midfield into the Mount Sac side of the field. He'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 35. And here comes the flag in. Tackle on the play, Aaron Smith, the sophomore from Long Beach Poly.
I think this is going to go against Mount Sac as they're, personal foul.
So a 33-yard run for Strong, and the face mask will tack on 15 more. So all the way down to the 24-yard line. Big play. The run and the 15 tacked on.
I'm not too sure if I saw a face mask on there, but referees know what they're doing here.
3 receivers at the top of the formation. They'll run left. Here's Strong running. Puts his helmet down. Gets inside the 10-yard line. So they've found something.
Yeah, it's going to be off. It's going to be against the Tigers here. It's going to be a hold, I believe.
So they'll back it off. They've been running to the left side of the line, Jeff. Anthony LaFrance, the sophomore tackle out of Ayala, he's missed the last few games. He's back today. So that could be why they're running that side a little bit, testing that side here early. LaFrance matched up with Darius Eves, the freshman from Claremont, for Mount Sac. 65 on 56. Great afternoon for college football in the city of Riverside. It's already 3-0. The number 1 ranked Tigers taking on the number 3 Mounties out of Mount Sac. Big time rivalry. Retzlaff dumps off the screen to Strong. And Strong flung down at about the 31-yard line. Making the tackle, Joshua Taylor, sophomore out of Euless, Texas. So call it about a 2-yard pickup on the play. 2nd down coming up. 1st down is to the 14-yard line of Mount Sac. So both Espadron brothers to the top of your screen with Reggie Retzlaff. So we have 2 pairs of brothers on the field right now for RCC. Strong shifts in the backfield. Jake to throw. The ball tipped up in the air and nearly picked off. It was Retzlaff was there with Mason White. Neither of them could come up with the deflection. Third down.
Yeah, they're going to have to go for pay dirt here in the third down. Try to get some yards. At least get, like I said, get points out of this drive if you can.
So from the 31, it's a 3rd and 17. RCC goes 2 by 2.
Mount Sac showing a little zone now.
Get your way to the bottom of your screen. Throwing. It's complete in the seam. Norbert Espadrone makes the catch inside the 20, short of the first down. So they'll mark it at the 18. It'll be about a 4th and 4, and here comes Jacob Marquand. Nice job by Retzlaff there going through his reads, Jeff.
He did. He hit his reads. They're playing the more. They start off in a man. They've gone to a zone here in the second series.
Here comes Marquand. Puts his foot into it. 35-yard field goal is good, and it's 6-0 RCC here with 10:20 to play in the first quarter.
You got to be happy if you're Riverside. You get something out of it. But hey, it can come right back if Mount Sac can score here. It's all nullified.
Co-defensive coordinators for Mount Sac, Robert Purcell Jr. and Leroy Johnson, and they've kind of shared the duties running the defense. And I mentioned 9.2 points per game, 174 yards per game, 50 rushing, 120 passing. They forced 15 turnovers on the year, but the one turnover tonight forced by the Tigers led to a field goal, part of their 6-0 lead. Hawkins back for Mount Sac along with Tommy Ayaro. Marquand already out for his 4th kickoff. And Hawkins will just take a knee.
There was a flag on the play. I didn't see where it went here.
Haven't yet mentioned our officials today. That's Jay Drury, our referee today. Umpire is Michael Lay. Greg Covington, the headlinesman. Terrence Green, our line judge. Sean Franklin is our field judge. Corey Butts, the side judge. Tyrone Clark, the back judge.
The offsides on the Tigers on the kick.
1st and 10, line is at the 30. Here's a little flip, and down he goes. Making the tackle, DeMarco Moorer, taking the carry. Adrian Boyd, the freshman from Fontana.
Yeah, don't throw it anywhere in the realm of DeMarco Moore.
So about a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Didn't we call his game when he had 3 interceptions in that first game?
He did against Long Beach.
Yeah. He had 2 in the other one we called.
Yeah, not every game, but yeah, we've called a couple of multi-interception games for him. Here's the give. This is the big fella grading up, and he'll go down over the 35-yard line as the tackle. Muhammad Nyanga Makenga, the sophomore out of Brooklyn. He played last year at Compton College. Getting up from the bottom of the pile, Alex Silva Navarro for RCC. So give him about 4 yards on the play up to the 39-yard line for Mount Sac. Nyanga Makenga adjusting in the backfield. They do a lot of two-back stuff, do the Mounties, Jeff. 3rd down play. Nyanga Makenga trying to stretch it out around the outside, but no quarter. maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. The big fella first guy there was Tasi Laufu. And then he got some help afterwards from RCC as Mafileo Tupo got in there out of John W. North High.
Yeah, Tupo was right there. He tried to go on the outside to get the edge just to get the first down and possibly get out of bounds. But Riverside right there with a big stop.
DeKilo on to punt it away. Actually, he was such a good kicker at Deming, but actually his senior year, they didn't have him punt. They just had him do the kickoffs and the field goals. Here's the kick. It'll be fielded at the 24-yard line, so a 38-yard kick, no return. And that's where RCC will start it off at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 with a 6-0 lead. 8:44 to play here in the first quarter. Ghazal Hassan with you along with Jeff Gorham. Nick Rice patrolling the sidelines. And our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. Great, big ups to the crew for the quick turnaround. We had a high school game here last night. They went home, got about 2 hours sleep, came back and flipped it for the college game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they just didn't bring their sleeping bags last night. And
should have the RV out, right?
Yeah, I really could have slept up here in the press box.
Set it up like a movie set. 1st and 10, line is the 24. Play action. Here's McClure catching at the 23. He'll rumble up to the 30, over the 30, and go down at about the 32-yard line, making the tackle for Mount Sac. Caton Supernoff, the freshman from Upland, had walked on at Colorado and bounced back to Mount Sac. 2nd down play. Line is the 32. Very close to the first down. I think he might have it. That was Jacques Jones making the run. And a player down for RCC looks like Brody Sheffley.
Was grabbing his knee. Hopefully he's...
You had some knee problems today.
Man, I woke up.
Hopefully you feel better.
I woke up. I felt like I played last night, but my knee swelled up and I can barely move today. I'm gonna go home tonight and sit.
That was your good knee, right? That's what you're concerned.
Good knee. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna sit in my hot tub, and then I'm gonna ice my leg and I'm gonna watch some college soccer today on ESPN Plus. See my guy right here, my partner Ghazal Hassan, calling some college soccer.
So Schleffy's going to go, and he's limping a little bit, but at least he's walking off under his own power. So hopefully he'll be back. And it tells you Alan Rennie had been filling in at that left tackle. We mentioned Anthony LaFrance back. So Tom Kraft was really happy with the depth on the offensive line. So let's see who they bring in favor of Schlafly as he leaves the field.
Did you say he's walked off on his own? I mean, he is, but I don't think anybody could carry that guy off.
Kind of favoring that left leg. Yeah, he goes 6'5", 330.
That's when you bring in the one of those big trucks. It's good to see he's walking, though.
So it looks like Rennie will be back in there. That's what it looks like. So they'll slide Rennie inside, and LaFrance will play outside for RCC. And they gave him the first down. He did get to the 35-yard line. Jacques Jones on the run for RCC. So 1st and 10 from the 35. So J.J. Tucker down on the bottom of your screen. 3 running backs in the backfield. They swing it outside to Alfred Jordan. Jordan for a first down, shoved out of bounds by Mason White. He'll get up to the 46-yard line, about an 11-yard pickup on the play. Alfred Jordan, the sophomore out of Arizona. Avondale, Arizona. La Jolla High School spelled Joya as opposed to Jolla. Not to be confused with San Diego.
You can't be confused with San Diego, my friend.
Trips to the top of the screen. Here's the give, bouncing it outside a little bit is Jones, and he slips through, slithers up to about the 41-yard line.
You said that perfectly. He slithered his way through that one. There were some big boys getting ready to pull him down, and he just slipped and slid right through.
You know, as good as the Mounties defense is, and the other thing is they're deep, because they play about 4 or 5 different guys in the D-line and the linebacker position, so that front 7 is always very strong. They're able to rotate guys. So call it the 42. It's a 1st and 10. play action. Retzlaff standing in against the rush. He'll try to get rid of it and nearly completes it. Tried to get McClure. He was about to go down. Getting in on him was Gaskin. Jacob Gaskin was in there along with Dupre Mendoza for Mount Sac, and it looked almost like it would have been a grounding penalty, but except Wyatt McClure was right there in the path of the football.
And McClure got his hand on it. So, I mean, you see all the fans here at Mount Sac wanting the grounding, but no, if your receiver touches the football, I don't think you can call that grounding.
You mentioned in the Open last year, he 21 touchdowns last year for Retzlaff. He's already got 23 through 6 games this year, but also his completion percentage. He completed about 59% of his passes last year. He's up around 65 here in 2022. And a flag comes in, it'll be too much time. So it'll go from a 2nd and 10 to a 2nd and 15. They'll move back to the 47-yard line. But in talking to Tom Kraft, Jeff, he was explaining to me that last year Jake played in a bit of an air raid offense. They do kind of more of a West Coast offense with a premium on completions. Throw to the outside to Jones. Jones dancing at the 50, up to the 45, and down he goes. Making the tackle on the play, stepping up, is Emmanuel Nkwoka, sophomore out of Bronx, Kennedy High School. Got some help from Dupre Mendoza as well on the tackle. First down to the 33. So about a 3rd and 11 coming up. Jones, the lone setback, 2-by-2 for RCC. Retzlaff throwing. Complete to the marker. Hits Reggie Retzlaff, and it's a first down. Right to the 31-yard line.
He pulled that right off his hip. Watch this throw from the side. Watch this. He throws that sidearm, just gets rid of it quickly. Knows his brother is right there.
Good pressure by Mount Sac. They've been actually getting good pressure on Jake Retzlaff, but Retzlaff's timing has been spot on.
Yeah, Retzlaff's been running for his dear life here early going.
He'll run again. After the fake, he'll get up to about the 21-yard line. Very close to a first down. He'll be just short. About a 9-yard run on the play there for Jake Retzlaff.
Retzlaff already with 32 yards rushing here in the first quarter.
Little tempo. Here's Tucker dancing on the outside. And Tucker shoved out of bounds. That's Jawan Tucker for RCC. Making the play for Mount Sac. How about Lance Russell? Sophomore out of Riverside, Notre Dame High School. Father Leonard Russell played at Mount Sac.
Oh, yes.
Also played in the National Football League.
He was also the Rookie of the Year in the National Football League.
From the 18, a 1st and 10, Jones. Mendoza over top, knocking him down. And Gaskin kind of was rooting him out underneath. Short gain, 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, and Leonard Russell's one time, he was an assistant football coach here at RCC under Mike Churchill.
Yeah, Arizona State, and then played for the Patriots for a little bit. Played for a couple NFL teams.
Yeah. Was the offensive rookie of the year.
Played for a bunch of, look, listen to these coaches he played for. Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, Rich Brooks, Bobby Ross. Pretty impressive roster of coaches for Leonard Russell.
And in fact, he was, I believe, when the introduction of Riverside TV, he was one of the original colored commentators.
Timeout RCC here with a 2nd down play coming up. 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. 4:37 to play in the first quarter. They already lead this game 6-0. And Lance Russell had a nice career at Notre Dame playing for Aaron Huerta. Coach Huerta now over at Harvard Westlake.
He reached out to you, I saw recently.
Good guy. We chat. We chat every once in a while. He actually helped me a lot that first year I was doing the CIF projections. He kind of gave me some great insight in terms of like teams and all that stuff. He's been around, because he worked over at Dana Hills. He worked at Servite. He's worked at some, with Dan O'Neill. He worked with some big coaches. But a couple of big coaches going here. Bob Jastrab for Mount Sac and Tom Kraft, obviously, for RCC. They're very good friends. They worked together for 3 years, and they won a state and national championship back in 2009 together at Mount Sac. 2nd and 10. Throwing. Gets away. And he gets blown up, but he's still on his feet, did not go down, and he'll go all the way back to the 29-yard line.
I think he wishes he went down the first time.
Blowing him up was Aaron Smith. Smith, the sophomore out of Long Beach Poly.
So if you're Smith, you get 2 tackles on that?
I was going to make the old joke from Raging Bull. I didn't go down, Ray. I didn't go down, but eventually he did go down. Instead, I'm sorry, that was Roshan Lacey. That wasn't Gitchway. Lacey on the catch, bringing up a 3rd down. Under 4 minutes to play in the first half. That's a 6-yard loss. Man coverage looking like on the outside. Here's Retzlaff looking corner. Incomplete. On the coverage there. Maulua Wells, the sophomore out of Chino Hills. Intended receiver was Jawan Tucker.
So far, Riverside has hit, I should say Jake Retzlaff has hit 8 different receivers for receptions, but it looks like they're going to get out of here with another 3, making it a 2-score game.
42-yard attempt. It's deja vu all over again. Jacob Mariquin comes out to attempt the 42-yarder. Snap is back, hold is down, the kick is up. Does it have the distance? Indeed it does, just inside the right upright. And it's a 9-0 game. Another field goal. So 3 field goals here in the first quarter. That one from 42 yards. And it's 9-0 in favor of RCC with 3:45 to play.
And Mariquin there looked like he got just underneath the football. Didn't get the power he normally gets, but enough to get through nonetheless. If we look at the crowd here for a nice matinee game.
Number 1 against number 3. It's a big game in the terms of the context for the state title, and obviously for the league title, right?
Yeah, they change divisions, it seems like every other year.
Every couple of years they do it now, yeah, for competitive equity. And Mariquin kicking to Hassani Hawkins and Tommy Ayaro. And that's Hawkins again, and he'll just kneel it down. Mariquin has been perfect. 4 kickoffs, all into the end zone, and 3 field goals.
He's going to be tired. That leg's going to be exhausted.
I think he trains it, though. I think he's trained for that.
You think so?
Kickers are trained to kick.
Do you think
You just missed Ricardo Chavez.
I do miss Chavez.
Are you going to get up to Moscow to catch a game this year?
I should drive up there. Starting to get chilly, though.
1st and 10, line is the 25. Boyd, the setback for Mount Sac. Odengwa takes the snap, gives to Boyd running right. Summers right there, but he gets around him. And finally, a convoy comes and pushes him out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. Moore was over there along with Gordon for RCC. About a 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6. Odengwa throws and completes the 30. Gordon right there for the tackle for RCC. So Genuine Potts with the reception. Potts out of Georgia, started his career at UT Chattanooga, played a little bit at Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, spent last year at Arkansas State. 5-yard pickup, 3rd and 5. So Potts split out to the near side. Trips to the top of the formation. Odengwa throws and completes it. Gets a 1st down. Making the catch is Cade Cadam. Cadam out of Bonita, Laverne High School product. Walked on at Arizona State, but decided to come back and play at Mount Sac. 6-yard pickup and a 1st down.
Just the second 1st down of the game for Mount Sac.
Odengwa has time. Here comes Tupou, and he lost the football. They're going to rule him down. No, they're going to say he was passing. Wow. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. So incomplete pass on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
I don't know if I agree with that one. As we see here in the replay, well, I guess he was.
Handoff. This is Boyd up the middle, and Moorer flings him down at the 41-yard line. 5-yard pickup. That's DeMarco Moorer on the tackle. Adrian Boyd with the run.
DeMarco Moorer has been that second-level defender. It's really kind of stepped up on 2 occasions so far, making the big play here.
Here they come playing a little tempo. Lucas Moore adjusts in the middle of the formation. Canyon St. Julian also to the top of the screen. Potts to the bottom of your screen. Here comes the pressure. Stepping up in the pocket is Udengwa. He's a pretty good runner, 45-50. He's into the RCC side of the field over the 40-yard line. Will step out of bounds inside the 40. Pretty good pickup on the play. About 22-yard run for Ike Udengwa.
There is a flag and a play, and I believe it's a hold. In fact, I saw it. Let's see if they saw what I saw. I believe that's coming back. We're going to hear the fans here at Mount Sac be a little angry, I believe.
Jay Drury, our white hat today. It's Daniel Gonzalez, the sophomore left tackle out of Barstow High, bounced back from Utah Tech, which was formerly known as Dixie State.
I was wondering that. Everybody was talking about this Utah Tech
Yeah,
stuff.
that's Dixie State.
Yeah. You know, Dixie State at one time was a community college.
Yeah. They went from a 2-year to a 4-year to D2 to D1 pretty quickly within the last 20 years.
Yes.
3rd and 15 from the 30. Udengwa under some pressure, trying to get away from it. He'll throw middle of the field and complete to Potts, but Gage Summers right there will make the tackle at the 40-yard line, short of the first down. And 4th down coming up for Mount Sac. And we'll see the punt team for the Mounties. We're the last minute of the first quarter. 9-0, 3 field goals from Jacob Mariquin is the sum of our ambition, Jeff, over the first 15 minutes or so.
I'll tell you what, it's nice to have a guy in your back pocket that can put up some points for you.
So Norian Espedron will call for the fair catch inside the 20 at about the 18. So a 42-yard kick, the fair catch by RCC. And the Tigers will have a first down. Tigers have a first down, and a light bulb went on above Nick Rice. So we'll throw it down to the sideline to the great Vista Murrieta alum, Nicholas Rice.
Well, thanks, guys. RCC offensive lineman Brody Schlafly sustained a knee injury on his right side. His return, while not official, is doubtful. Meanwhile, for the Mounties, their coaching staff throughout the course of this first quarter, their game plan has been to simplify the defense. Less blitzing, less communicating prior to the play, and more reacting when the play gets started. It'll be interesting to see how the defense responds as the Tigers have gained about 150 yards in this first quarter. Guys?
Yeah, great point, Nick, because on the season, Mount Sac had only given up about 175 yards per game, and the Tigers already with 150. That's the good news. The bad news is, though, no touchdowns, Jeff.
No touchdowns, but, hey, when you got a kicker, like I say, kickers need friends, too.
They bend, but they do not break. Here's Jones trying to dance, and down he goes. Gaskin has been such a presence for Mount Sac. Jacob Gaskin, the sophomore out of Walnut, having a standout year. Here's a guy typical, kind of a big, broad, wide defensive end, but a little undersized when it comes to D1 evaluation. 6'1", 6'2", about 245. He was a high school wrestler, so he understands leverage.
Leverage, strength, and toughness.
2nd down. Here's Jones again, and he's not going to get much. Still fighting, though. And finally, he'll go down at about the 15-yard line. The first quarter comes to an end. And that front seven, we talked about the front seven for Mount Sac. How good have they been as Lance Russell stepping up and making the play. Got some help from Emmanuel Nwoka. And we'll flip sides here. 9-0 after 15. Give me an early evaluation, Jeff Gore.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're Mount Sac, you got to be pretty happy that you've only given up 9 points The bad part is they have 9 points, and that's great defense, and you're still giving up points to a prolific offense. If you can just make some plays offensively, get this thing going, Mount Sac has an opportunity to get back into this ball game quickly.
I talked with Tom Kraft about last week's game, and I said, you won 38-3 on the road against a ranked team. You got to feel pretty good. And of course, he hits me with, "Wow, the first half was pretty good, but the second half we only won 7-3." I'm like, "Coach, you won 38-3. Smile a little bit." But no, that's the point he was making.
Yes,
is it's really more about how they play than than the result at that point. So the ball will go back to the 17 or the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 12 for RCC. We'll start the second quarter here. Kazal Hassan with you, along with Jeff Gorham. Down on the sideline, Nick Rice. Thanks for joining us Saturday afternoon. Number 1 against number 3. The atmosphere has been fantastic here at Ramona High. 3rd down coming up. Retzlaff with the give. This is Strong. Strong gets over the 20-yard line. Tackled by Nikwoka. And they'll punt. Gets up to the 24-yard line, so picked up about 9. They needed to get up to the 29. About 5 yards short of the first down. And the punt team on for RCC. Jared Campbell, sophomore. It was interesting because Tom Kraft is generally pretty praising of his players. He actually said, "Hey, Campbell's been okay for us. We need him to do a little more. Need his consistency to be a little bit better." Coach him up a little bit, some tough love. Gets that away. It'll be a short kick and take a RCC bounce. Fielded on the hop at the 40. And lunging forward for about 7 yards on the return is Jared Allen. So Allen makes a 7-yard return. The kick about 36 yards in good field position for Mount Sac to start it off.
And both teams today so far just 1 of 5 during 3rd down efficiency.
And excuse me, that was Jaden Allen, not Jared Allen.
Jared Allen's a heck of a player.
Rawls and Kadem to the far side split out. Play action to Boyd. Adeng was going to launch it. Looking down the field. And he makes the catch. Xavier Rawls hauls it in at the 13-yard line. 40-yard completion.
Here's the replay. And I tell you what, you thought it was great defense. He played with his feet, hands straight up, but he's got right underneath it. You got to finish the play all the way through.
Concentration by the receiver.
Great concentration.
1st and 10 from the 19. Boyd dancing outside. And they'll knock him down. Both teams playing the run fairly well. He'll get up to about the 11-yard line. Keithan Gordon was there for RCC. And a player down for the Tigers. It's about 2 yards on the run.
Can't see who that is exactly who's down. Hopefully he's okay. He's face down, though.
13:36 to play here in the second quarter. It's Johnny Allo sitting up. Allo, the freshman from Salt Lake City West High School, getting some time at linebacker. He's a special teams standout for RCC. The first couple of minutes, I didn't want to say anything, but it looked like he was kind of out cold, Jeff.
He did.
Might have been a helmet-to-helmet type of deal. So it'll be 2nd down from the 11. They can still get a 1st down to the 3-yard line. So Rawls to the top of the screen. In the near slot is Kadem. Bottom of the screen is Brewer, split out for Mount Sac. Hand off Nwanga Makemba up the middle to about the 7-yard line. So give him about 5 on the play. Third down coming up.
This is a huge third down. If you're Mount Sac, you'd love to get a touchdown here.
Talk a lot about RCC's offensive line. The big boys up front for Mount Sac, they do a pretty good job as well. They've been averaging nearly 185 yards on the ground per game. Play action. Adengwu looking, throwing. Overthrown. How about Talib Salahuddin in pass coverage there?
That's somebody you can't throw over. That is one big fella. Like I said, you look at him and you go, that guy is a dude, a great athlete. We've talked about it over and over and over.
Judah
never throw it his way.
Judah Azin was the intended receiver, playing the tight end to Salahuddin. Probably will have to do that as like a 3-4 linebacker at the next level. Field goal attempt coming. About a 25-yard attempt, and it's through to make it 9-3. So Ziggy off for Mount Sac. That was Diego Esqueda, the freshman from Beaumont, where he played for our friend Jeff Steinberg.
A lot of local guys playing in this ball game today.
So 12:32 to play in the first half. First points for Mount Sac. A 25-yard field goal, and now the kickoff coming for Mount Sac. It was kind of what you expected. Number 1 against number 3, top defense in the state for the Mounties. RCC's been able to make some yards, but it's been bend, do not break for Mount Sac, and it's worked out thus far.
It has worked out thus far. And when was the last time you said, hey, when was the last time a Tom Kraft offense didn't put the ball in the end zone?
Kickoff coming. Norian and Norbert Espadron back deep for it. Norbert will field it at the 4. Weaving outside of the 20. Ball comes loose. Ball still loose. I think RCC had the first shot at it, and it'll be at the 21-yard line.
You watch here on the replay.
Recovering for RCC is Jason Mitchell. Mitchell, a sophomore from Cajon, where he played for Nick Rogers.
Looked like he just lost the football there. Didn't
I don't think anybody either. I don't think anybody hit him, and maybe somebody punched it out, but I didn't see that. So from the 22, it's a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. They lead 9-3. Jones now. It's an empty set. Retzlaff's got some time. He'll fling to his outlet. Jones at the 20. 25 up to the 30-yard line, and finally pushed out. Combining on the hit for Mount Sac was Mason White and Anthony Hebert. Hebert out of Centennial.
And I'll tell you what, these officials are letting them play a lot today. They're not putting up with the shenanigans. Thought maybe it was a late hit, but they're letting them play today.
So up to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 2 coming up. That's Jones in motion for RCC. Here comes the rush. He'll fling to the outside. The intended receiver there was Jordan Williams. One-on-one coverage with Mason White. Incomplete. 3rd down coming up.
Like I said, Riverside just 1 of 5 today so far on 3rd down conversions here.
Nice job by the secondary of Mount Sac. Talking to Coach Jastrow, he said probably the best unit on our team in terms of the defense. They play the run, they play the pass. Intriguing matchup with the RCC receivers. Retzlaff will take it himself. 1st down and more. Right up the middle. He's in the open field. To the 25, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. 70-yard run for Jake Retzlaff. And the Tigers on the board, Jeff.
Holy cow, he made something there out of nothing. I tell you, he had everybody he was looking to pass to. said, heck with it, I'll do it myself, and it was a foot race.
I was wondering what they were doing with the empty sets, and I think they wanted us to kind of smoke out a blitz.
Yes.
They didn't blitz. They had a good four-man rush, and then Retzlaff took advantage with the coverage down the field. Ameriquin, the PAT, and it's 16-7, or 16-3, excuse me.
Yeah, you watch in the replay, it looked like the parting of the Red Sea. I mean, there was just open ground. He takes complete advantage of it as you watch.
And there you go.
There is nobody near him. And watch this block. Watch this block. Perfect. Gets right in front of the defender and saves that for the touchdown.
In the role of Jake Retzlaff, Charlton Heston. Right? Think about parting the Red Sea.
Yes.
70-yard touchdown run, his longest of the year. And it's a touchdown for RCC. And those are the little kind of things, you know, it was almost like a boxing match. It was like jabs going back and forth. All of a sudden, here comes Retzlaff with a haymaker, and George Foreman is on the canvas.
That puts Jake Retzlaff just over 100 yards rushing here in the first half.
The football version of the rope-a-dope, and a touchdown for the Tigers. 16-7, 11:44 to play in the first half.
That makes me smile. I remember the old rope-a-dope. I was watching boxing with my dad, and watching it, I remember him saying, "Why is he letting him hit him like that?" And my dad said, "It's the rope-a-dope."
Hawkins will bring it out. He's about 4 yards deep in the end zone. Hawkins trying to make a play. He'll get to about the 20-yard line, and he'll get tied up there. Making the tackle for RCC was Miles Martin. We got something with Nick Rice.
RCC leads the game by 2 scores, but they're dealing with a cluster of injuries. Brody Schlafly, the offensive lineman, he is officially out for today's game. And Johnny Allo, likewise, the linebacker for the Tigers, he's out for the remainder of the game. Guys?
Well, you know what that means for Tom Kraft. Talks about next man up on the defense. Boyd in motion. The fake by Odengwa still has the football. He'll look down the field. Wide open is Allen. Allen at midfield. There he goes. And bringing him down from behind, making the play, is Kenton Allen. So one Allen tackles the other, but flipping the field is Mount Sack.
I don't know if there was miscommunication here or what, but there was nobody within 20 yards of him when he catches the football. I mean, he is wide open.
49-yard completion, flips the field. 59 yards. They get to the 20-yard line, and Mount Sack will tee it up there, 1st and 10, just outside the red zone. These are also 2 of the best red zone teams in the league. 21 times, now 22 times that Mount Sack has been in the red zone. They've scored it 22 times, 12 touchdowns. RCC now in the red zone, 31 of 33, 22 of those being TDs as well. So 1st and 10 from the 20. Yeah, he was wide open.
I think he was surprised how wide open he was.
That was like the football version of physical distancing because there was nobody around him.
He was definitely more than 6 feet.
Talked about moving some pieces around on the defense for RCC, perhaps a missed assignment there. 1st and 10 from the 20. Here's the give right up the middle and bullying his way inside the 15-yard line. That is Muhammad Nyanga Makenga, the sophomore out of Brooklyn by way of Compton College. Came in averaging about 5.5 yards a pop and 6 touchdowns. Just like Tom Kraft, Bob Jastrab kind of running back by committee. Some of that has been due to injury. Picking his way to the outside, close to a 1st down, puts the football down. About a 3-yard pickup on the play, needed 4. And so we'll do it a 3rd and short. Just when you thought maybe the Tigers got a leg up, back come the Mountains with a big pass completion to Jaden Allen. Nice job, though. Give credit to the quarterback for Mount Sack, Ike Odengwu, for making that play, kind of extended the play with his feet.
He's got 123 yards passing here.
3rd and 1. Udengwa will take it himself, and he should have the first down. He does not. Wow. The line judge coming in holding his hand up like it's 4th down.
Wow, yeah, it is short. About a foot short. You go for it, you put up the 3. You got to go for it.
There you go. You're playing number 1 against number 3. Let's go. Boyd, the tailback. It'll be Udengwa trying to take it himself. Did he get it?
Yeah, sideline judge are giving it to him. It's going to be a first down.
Both teams claiming they're victorious. Looks like they spotted it just inside the 10, which would be a first down. And it is. So Jay Drury says first down. He's our white hat. Winds the clock. So it's a first down. So 1st and goal. Looking over the middle, incomplete. DeMarco Moore on the coverage against Judah Izinwa, the tight end. Izinwa, the sophomore out of Etowanda High. He's got offers on the table from McNeese State and New Mexico State. How good has Moore been?
Awesome.
What a great year he's had.
He can go almost anywhere he wants. Anybody would love to have that young man in their defense.
It's going to shape it up like last year's game between these two teams. It was 28-25. That game, though, RCC ran out to a bit of a lead, and then Mount Sac came back. They actually scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with under a minute to play. Ball came out, but he was down already. They're going to rule him down after a 3-yard pickup. Nyanga Makenga, the sophomore, with the run, and they're doing a little thunder and lightning with him and Adrian Boyd. Nyanga Makenga goes about 6'2", 240. Adrian Boyd 5'10", 170. And it's thunder and lightning with the two of them for the offensive coordinator, Cameron Dean, his first year taking over for Mount Sac, calling the plays for Rob Jastrab. Leroy Johnson was he was a DB coach. Robert Purcell Jr. also was the offensive coordinator before or after Tom Kraft left in 2009, but now he's flipped over to the defensive side. They'll back that off.
That's a big mistake here.
So they get Tremont Brewer on the false start. They'll back it off 5 yards. It'll make it a 3rd and 7. I mean, it's a 3rd and goal in essence. Doesn't really matter, but they'll move back to the 12-yard line, 3rd down. So Xavier Rawls split out to the top of the screen. Brewer split out to the near side. Allen in the near slot, looking to the near side, and now Udengwa will dance with it, and then he took too much time, and down he goes. 4th down. Talib Salahuddin was the first man there.
Yeah, you watched the replay. He just kind of hesitated. He had the hole, but that surely closed with Salahuddin right there.
Also in on the play for RCC was Alonzo Gray Hall. Listen, when you got big number 8 bearing down on you, I understand being a little skittish.
And Alonzo Gray Hall's not so short himself at 6'5", 270.
So the extra point coming up is about a 30-yard field goal attempt for Diego Esqueda. Esqueda has his second field goal on the afternoon. He's 2 for 2. Esqueda now 7 of 8 on the year in field goals, and he has made all 32 of his PATs. So it's 7:24 to play in the half. It's 16-6. Esqueda with his second field goal of the game coming from 30 yards out.
Hey, I bet if you are RCC, you are wiping your brow down and saying, thank heavens they didn't put it in the end zone after that big strike and a great defensive stop.
Yeah, I mean, they did kind of what Mount Sac's defense did with the fumble early in the game. They played around the field position, held them to a field goal, bent but did not break, and they're still in it. They got the 3 points, and it's 16-6. 10-point lead for RCC. Here's the kickoff coming. The Espedron brothers back deep. Backpedaling into the end zone. He'll just take it right there. Norion Espedron will take a knee, and the ball will come back to the 25 for RCC.
Yeah, they're twins, correct?
I think they're a year apart,
Are
actually.
they? Okay. I was going to say, if they were twins, I wonder if they ever go out and say, hey, I'm going to wear your number today. Then the one brother who they switch, it's like a movie, has a great game. And
I think the old trick when you're playing twins in basketball is switch because one has too many fouls, you switch at halftime.
the better brother gets to play more. Oh, that's great.
That's Donovan Harvey in motion. 1st and 10 for RCC. He's got time. He'll complete it to Harvey. It's intercepted. No, incomplete.
Yes, no,
it is intercepted. Wow.
Off the carom.
The deflection went off of Abear, and then Mason White, I think, ended up with it at the end. So caroms off of Harvey, and then playing a little bit of ping pong are Mason White and Anthony Abear.
Watch this. I mean, this is. He takes the shot. What happened after the play? Bounces off.
So that's Abear. He loses it, and then there's Mason White right there. Johnny on the spot. A big turnover.
Wow.
So that's a big-time play. Mount Sac comes up, and that's when you're in a big game, Jeff. Those bounces, you got to make those plays. And what a big play by Mason White for Mount Sac. White, the sophomore out of Van Nuys. And I talked to Bob Jastrab. He said he's probably the best player in our secondary. Comes in with 21 tackles, couple of interceptions, 5 passes defense, and he's got a blocked field goal this year. He's a guy with a number of D1 offers pending. So the line of scrimmage will be the 29. Not sure what the officials are waiting on. Oh, it's an injury. I'm sorry. Well, that was Harvey who went down.
Yeah, Harvey took the shot when he made the tackle after the bounced off him. I think he hurt him, so I'm trying to see. Hopefully it's not a.
So Harvey will be helped off. Another look at the play, Jeff.
Yeah, the ball just bounces right off his face mask, and let's see where he gets. Yeah, he went down. I don't know what happened. Looked like maybe a stinger, but he was out.
He's walking off now. He's not limping, but yeah, you can tell his bell certainly was rung. So here come the Mounties again. And the Mounties, you got to give them credit. As well as they've played, they're playing with their projected starting quarterback, Alex Flores, and also Nicholas Floyd, who was supposed to be their top running back. He also went down in the first game. So Rawls to the top of the screen. Udengwa to throw to the outside. Complete to Rawls, the 24-yard line. And Gordon will push him out. He got about 8 on the play.
Udengwa with over 130 yards passing here in this first half. Jake Retzlaff, who we always talk about having these huge video game numbers, just 9 of 15 for 58 yards so far.
Remember, they had the one big play, the 59-yard play, helps those numbers a little bit. 2nd and 2 from the 21 for Mount Sac. They trail 16-6. A little bit of play action. He's got some time. Now he's running. He'll launch it into the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Throws it out. Izenwu was the intended receiver. Salahuddin back in the coverage along with Marcel Taylor, the freshman from Seminole High in Sanford, Florida. 3rd down coming up. I like how Udengwa handles himself in and out of the huddle. Shows a lot of poise. Sophomore single caller for Mount Sac. 3rd down coming up. Nyanga Mukenga resets himself, and he'll try to take a page out of Jake Retzlaff's book, and he'll step out of bounds getting the 1st down. That was Ike Udengwa, the sophomore QB.
Smart move to get there to get out of bounds and get that first down.
Again, poised, collected,
Yeah.
understands the situation. And it was funny when I was talking to Bob Jastrab. He said, even if Alex Flores had been healthy, I was going to get Ike into games. Ike was going to get some reps. Threw 71 passes last year for Mount Sac while Flores was winning team MVP. Ball to the 19, first down. And whistles and flags.
And that's going to hurt Mount Sac. Again, they get things going.
Looks like a false start. The O-line has been tremendous, though. Coach Jastrab talked about, because they had three freshmen on the line. Chan's a sophomore, as is the left tackle, Gonzalez. They had to plunk some guys in there who didn't have a whole lot of experience, and they've stepped up and played very well. This is Jaden Allen in motion. Ganga Mukenga to the left side, and he's just a bull in a china shop there. Leans forward over the 20-yard line to the 19. Getting up from the bottom of the pile. I believe that's Alex Silva Navarro. Also helping out on that hit, Lehi Fosia. Second and 12 coming up.
Riverside going man-to-man here defensively on the receivers. We're showing some zone now there.
Brewer to the near side. In the far slot is Jaden Allen.
They back up and get into that zone out of that man.
Got some time now. It closes up. Udengwa, though, fights it off. He lost the football. Ball still loose. Who's got it? RCC got it.
Yes, they did.
Picking it off, Sevilla Logaleo. There was a mad scramble for the football. I think Udengwa thought he had it at the end, couldn't quite secure it, and then Logaleo takes it away for RCC. So the turnover forced by James Cook's defense. Let's go down to Nick Rice.
RCC has the lead in this game despite a brutal first half with injuries. Offensive lineman Brady Schlafly, he's out for the remainder of the game with a knee. Johnny Allo, their linebacker, is also out for the game with an arm injury. And now running back Donovan Harvey is in concussion protocols, so he's most likely done for the remainder of the day. Guys?
First and 10 from the 35. Retzlaff gets about 2 yards on the play. Lost the ball, but after he hit the turf. Emmanuel Nkwoka, the sophomore, making the tackle, about a 3-yard gain. Second down coming up. Retzlaff stepping up. There's pressure. Here's throwing to the near side. Incomplete. That was Rashawn Lacey trying to make the catch on the coverage for Mount Sac. Was Amiri Tenius, the sophomore from Miami.
How good is this front line, though, for Mount Sac? They have had Retzlaff out of that pocket several times here in the first half. And
Jacob Gaskin, I've been so impressed with Gaskin. He's just been a problem. And here he comes again, the quick throw over the middle, complete over the 40 to the 41. No, incomplete. Couldn't hold on to it. That was Jordan Williams. Here comes the punt team. Flag on the play, so we'll have to sort that out first.
It's going to be against Riverside.
4:24 to play here in the first half. 16-6. Number 1 against number 3 in the state. Head linesman explaining to Bob Jastrab what's going on. He's going to decline the penalty. So here comes Jared Campbell. He'll kick it away. Jaden Allen stands at his 27 to receive it. Good part on the field for a potential fake, but Campbell will kick it. Ball bounces outside the 30-yard line. Will be down at about the 32. So just a 28-yard kick. Yeah, that's something Tom Kraft talked to me about. He said, we like Jared. He's a strong leg. We like what he does, but needs to be a little more consistent in terms of pinning teams back. And Mount Sac will start from the 32.
Yeah, Mount Sac has really done a great job, I think, in this first half of keeping, like I said, keeping Riverside out of the end zone for the most part. I mean, it has become a kicking game with one touchdown, but I'm very impressed with the quarterback. At times for Mount Sac, kind of made a mistake the last time out.
So the Tigers defense played around a turnover. Now the Mount Sac defense has played around a turnover.
And a new quarterback.
So here's the give inside. Lunging forward is Boyd to about the 35-yard line. A 3-yard pickup. And a new quarterback in for Mount Sac. It's Sean Jastrab, the freshman out of Bonita High.
Wait.
He's the coach's son.
I was going to say that.
28 of 47 on the year, nearly 60% completions. 5 TDs and a pick, 377 yards. So the turnover by Udengwa, and now they're going to Jastrab. Now, to be fair, he's played in a couple games. Bob Jastrab has played multiple quarterbacks in a few games this year. Here's the play, complete to the 45-yard line, so a first down, 11-yard pickup on the play. Making the catch, Cade Cadam, the freshman out of Glendora. Was a walk-on at Arizona State, never got into a game, however. First and 10 line is the 45. Jastrab, the quick throw. Complete to Brewer. And Brewer will be tackled right as he catches the football. That's Willie Tucker Jr., the freshman from Inglewood, Mountain Point High School.
And they're going up tempo here. They're trying to.
Yeah, about a 6-yard pickup, trying to go tempo.
Riverside looks out of sorts here defensively. They don't get off the field.
2nd and 4 from the Tigers' 49. And timeout called by RCC.
Probably a good call if you're Riverside. They were going up tempo and kind of getting things going. Call timeout, reevaluate, see if you can adjust there. They looked like they were showing a big zone defense on that last possession. Let's see if they come out looking a little different here.
Well, when a team goes up tempo, you want to do two things. When a team goes tempo, you want to make a big hit, or you call it timeout.
Exactly.
So those are two things that kind of take them out of the rhythm. 16-6 here, 2:50 to play in the first half. Gazal Husson with you along with Jeff Gorham. We got Nick Rice down on the sideline. A lot of injuries today. 3 Tigers not expected to return. Tom Kraft was talking about this overall the last couple of years. Part of it due to COVID and preparation stuff, that injuries have been up about 40%.
And their team is a lot smaller. I think you said 30 players less than what
Like
they normally
30 or 40, yeah, because of the restrictions. You know, it's a timetable thing. Like the RCC, they had to get their restrictions out, and they waited so long to make a decision and kind of announce it that by that time, a bunch of the players that Coach Kraft and his staff had been recruiting had already made other decisions to go elsewhere. And obviously a lot of that had to do with the facility, which they're not able to play. Obviously, that's why we're playing at Ramona High School. So a 2nd down and 4 for Mount Sac. Diamond bunch at the top of the formation. Here comes Allo. Jastrab throwing. First down to Adrian Boyd. He's tackled by Talib Salahuddin at the 40-yard line. So a 9-yard pickup.
And there's a flag in the after the play. I think it's going to be against RCC. As I saw a couple players over there pleading to their sideline as guys get yanked out. Let's see. I think it's going to be against the defense. Yeah, personal foul. A little extracurricular activity after the play that really didn't involve them. That's a goofy mistake.
Tough one on Talib Salahuddin. He's been doing a nice job. He's been in pass coverage a lot today, Jeff. Usually he just pins his ears back and comes at the quarterback. From the 25. Jastrab, a little bit of pressure. Flag on the play. Throws to the outside. It's complete. That's Jaden Allen with the catch at the 10-yard line. A 15-yard pickup. And a flag comes in, though. I think it's all coming back.
Yeah, just when Mount Sac gets moving, the penalties have really hurt them in the tight situations where they're within the 30.
Is that the Mount Sac coach's box throwing all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm worried. You guys right next to me, and it sounds like there's a tiger in the room next to us, or a bear.
What was that movie, Donnie Brasco? Did Al Pacino have a tiger in his car?
Yes.
Feeding him burgers?
They're feeding a lion burgers.
That's right, lion, that's right. First and 10 from the 36. Jastrab thrown to the outside, complete to Allen. He evades one tackler, and then finally shoved out of bounds. Lovewind Don Willies pushes him out. They'll mark it up to the 24-yard line, so about a 12-yard pickup there. 2nd and 8 coming up. So Xavier Rawls split out to the top of the formation in the far slot. With him is Cade Cadam. Tremont Brewer to the near side, in the near slot, Jaden Allen. Adrian Boyd is the lone setback for Mount Sac. 2nd and 8 coming up. Jastrab looking down the field. He's looking for Allen one-on-one. Marcel Taylor in coverage for RCC. Incomplete. 3rd down. So number 1 against number 3, kind of going about how you'd thought. 16-6 in favor of the home team, RCC. But Mount Sac kind of giving the Tigers all they can handle here. Could make it a 3-point game if they can score to culminate this drive. 3rd and 8. Jastrab down the middle of the field for Cadam over his head. Moore on coverage. Gage Summers, the linebacker, was also back there. And a 4th down. And Moore needs to be smarter there. That little shove at the end could have easily drawn a flag. You got to be careful in a game like this.
Oh, exactly. Man, they got away with it because there were a couple open receivers and just out of the reach of.
42-yarder coming up. Here's Escada. His long of the year has been 33. Puts it down. The kick is up, and it is good. Plenty of leg on that one. And it'll be 16-9. 3rd field goal of the game for Escada. And longest field goal of the year to make it 16-9 here with 1:38 to play in the 2nd quarter. So 9-0 in favor of Mount Sac, or in favor of RCC in the 1st quarter. It's 9-7 in favor of Mount Sac here in the 2nd quarter.
You know, and both teams have had their time of possession are pretty close, except for Mount Sac has had the ball for 16 minutes, which is kind of backwards considering we've seen RCC put so many points on the board to RCC's 12 minutes. So 4 minutes longer for Mount Sac here in the 1st half.
Well, they thought about, when I talked to Coach Jastrab, I said, hey, we're going to try to control the ball. But here's an opportunity for RCC. 98 ticks left. They can get some points. Remember, they get the ball to start the 2nd half. Dorian Espadron will just take a knee, and they'll come out on the touchback for RCC with 1:38 to play until the half. So the Mount Sac defense has been solid, and why shouldn't they be? They're the number 1 defense in the state, Jeff.
Yeah, they've held Jake Retzlaff, who's the most prolific passer in the state, to just 61 yards in the 1st half. If you'd have told me that going into the game and I had to pay money on that, I would have lost a ton.
So Reggie Retzlaff down on the bottom of your screen. Here's Jake. He's got some space, and he'll go running with it. 30-35. He'll dive down for the 1st down just over the 35-yard line. So Retzlaff with another run.
He's over 115 yards on the ground here in the 1st half. That's the bright spot.
32-yard run and a 70-yard run among his attempts on the afternoon. 1st and 10, line is the 35. Jake to throw. He's got pressure from Gaskin. Dumps it off to Young, who can't hold it. And then he gets lit up by Mason White. White just laying the wood for Mount Sac. You can tell they kind of play through his intensity a little bit, Jeff.
Man, he woke him up. You got to catch the football, young man.
2nd and 10. Line is at 35. Intercepted off the tip. There's the pick. And some extracurricular activity. So making the pick, Toale Lefau, the Hawaiian, the sophomore, makes the pick. And a lot of deflected passes today. You don't normally see that.
No, I mean, I don't know if it's the sun, the glare, but, man, we've had them off the face mask, off the chest several times, and that was a catchable ball. That
second turnover, second interception here at 1:05 of the second quarter, and a big opportunity for Mount Sac. They convert into points off the turnover. Jastrab to the outside for Brewer, who makes the catch and gets around, and he's going to go to the end zone. Touchdown, Mounties! A 48-yard catch and run by Tremont Brewer. And the Mount Sac crowd comes to life here. This tackle by the RCC Tigers, and it's 6.
Wow, what a great play. And what a play to stay in bounds.
PAT from Escada is through. 55 2/10 of a second to play. They turn the turnover into 7, Jeff.
Wow, they came ready to play, and honestly, that's what it boils down to, is that defense has been stellar, and they've made a couple of huge plays on offense that have been big-time home runs for strikes. A breakdown on the defense there, that last possession by RCC.
10 points in the space of 43 seconds for the Mounties, and we're all knotted at 16. 16 apiece here with under a minute to play. I'll tell you what, if you watch social media this week, all the Mountie players, they all were waiting for this one. They were all pointing at this one all week. You know how big it is for them after the loss last year and a couple years ago, the loss in the playoffs back in 2019 against RCC. Last 13 points of the game to the Mounties. Here comes Espadron up the right side. He'll be knocked down at about the 25-yard line. That's where RCC will tee it up with 48 seconds to play. So what do you do here if you're Tom Kraft? Do you play conservative? You try to do something?
No, I don't think you play conservative at all. Like you said, you get the ball here in the second half. You give it a shot here if you can.
You know if you can get to the 30-yard
yes.
line. Number 61 is pretty automatic. So a field goal here would be big if you go to the locker room with a lead. Retzlaff to the bottom of your screen. That's Reggie Retzlaff. There's the give to Jaquez Jones. He'll get it over the 30-yard line to about the 33. So give him 8 on the run. As the clock continues to run, we're nearing 30 seconds to play in the first half. So they're going to just run out the clock, Jeff.
They are. They're not going to call timeout. They're not doing anything. They're just going to.
Jones will take it again. Over the 40, he'll have the first down. They'll stop the clock as they reset the chains. From the 42, Jones again. And again, the Tigers not using their timeouts. They'll get over to the 46-yard line. And that'll likely be the last play here in the second quarter. We'll go to the half with the score tied at 16. 16 for RCC, 16 for Mount Sac. But I want to note the last 13 points in the second quarter all scored by Mount Sac.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the Mount Sac defense really came ready to play. They've been, like as you would say, Johnny on the spot on those caromed interceptions. If you are RCC, man, they have just made mistake after mistake after mistake. The only bright spot has been the kicker, and that's about it.
we always talk about bounces in football, but a couple of bounces have gone in favor of Mount Sac, but you give them credit because they made the plays. And every coach talks about playmakers, and when your defense is as good as Mount Sac's is, you got a bunch of playmakers on the defense. Let's go down to Nick Rice. He's got Bob Jastrob, the head coach of Mount Sac. We'll talk to him for a little bit.
All right, we're joined by Mountie head coach Jacob Jastrab. Big comeback for you guys. Well, you know, I'm mixed up with you and also your son. What an incredible moment for your Sean to get out there and mount a comeback.
No, it's great. We got a spark going, and I'm glad we're making it more entertaining for everybody here. It's a great game, and it'll be a great second half.
So it was outstanding how you guys were able to come back. What do you think was the catalyst for you guys?
I mean, obviously, it's the turnovers. We gave them a few early, and then we got a few with good field position, and I think that's going to dictate the outcome of the game. Who can hold on the ball, who can execute, who can eliminate the penalties, and again, score points in the end.
All right, that's the head coach.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Mounties and the Tigers. It should be an incredible second half. We're looking forward to seeing how those guys play the rest of the game. Guys?
You know, Bob Jastrob is a 17-year head coach. He's won countless titles, league titles. He's won state titles. He's won a national championship in 2009. Only the 8th coach in the history of Mount Sac. You know how many coaches Mount Sac has had since 1970?
Two.
Three
Holy
coaches.
Smokes.
He's been the head man since back in 2005. So it's a 16-16 halftime tie between RCC and Mount Sac. What are your thoughts here? 13 points unanswered for the Mounties.
I just think that, like you said, they made plays. Both teams turned the ball over. It's just which team made it the best after those turnovers. And I'll tell you, Mount Sac looked like they had the momentum going. They played smart football. They played mistake-free football, and they just outplayed the Tigers bluntly.
Yeah, they certainly look like the more active team here in the second quarter, whereas
Yes.
the Tigers were more kind of reactive, but obviously they'll adjust things at the half. It's still 16-16. We'll step aside momentarily. We'll head it back to our Riverside TV studios, and then Jeff and I will bring the second half to you here from Ramona High School. Mount Sac 16, RCC 16. Thanks for watching SCFA football on Riverside TV.
I'm Cheech Marin, and we're inviting you to reserve your spot for the inaugural showing of Cheech Collects. So get your tickets today. We're looking for you. I'm Cheech Marin, and we're inviting you to reserve your spot for the inaugural showing of Cheech Collects. So get your tickets today. We're looking for you.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
Well, it all started basically with my son, Joshua Unger. He's severely autistic. He was aging out of the school district, and this was about when he was around 18, but the school district keeps you till you're 22. We're sitting at home one day and we're talking about, well, what are we going to do once he actually is out of the school district? And we thought about it really hard, and at that time we were doing some backyard gardening. And my son was very responsive to it. He enjoyed going out and planting the seeds and being in the soil and, harvesting the lettuce and going and, getting the carrots and the onions, and, he likes to cook too. And we thought, well, hey, what if we actually had some property to where we could have like a small farm that sells vegetables, and we can make a program where we can bring in others, a work program for people with these different disabilities. Ultimately, what we decided to do was just start looking in the Inland Empire area for a piece of property that would work for that. And, we found the Greenbelt. We try to implement as much organic material in the soil as possible. We're not using any pesticides or herbicides. We, have barn owl boxes. We have little birds' nests that we're planting so that they'll eat some of the bugs, and we also encourage predator bugs, like ladybugs. Our operation is at that point where we're turning a corner. With the high tunnels going up, we're going to be planting tomatoes in there. There's a lot of little things to maintain with tomatoes. We're kind of transitioning from a point where we were just focused on the small little corner of the property, kind of educating me. And then now that we have some systems in place that I feel are successful, we're going to expand that across the center part of the farm here, and we're going to be putting in a little farm stand that we can sell some of these vegetables with, and that will provide additional tasks for the workers with disabilities to fulfill. One of the ways that we reach out to people is on Facebook, and it's Gable Farms. Just Gable Farms, and you can search it in Riverside, and that's an easy way to find us.
My daughter had an issue at school where another student on her campus, specifically in her class, said some derogatory things about people of color, specifically black people. Although Riverside is a great place to live, it has shadows and it has corners where hate lives. As a result of that, my daughter was hurt that day, and we needed to put a voice to it. A friend of mine, she reached out to me and she said, Rochelle, I can't sit by and know that this happened to Edison and not do something.
We had a conversation about the racism that her daughter Edison had experienced at her school and how that felt to her. We felt like we needed to do something and to say something. And so we talked about the representation of black figures in Riverside and how there was a lack of representation. We talked about inclusion and respect and what that looked like. And we talked about creating an art piece.
It was after the murals that we had up on the Fox Performing Arts Center, as well as the John Lewis mural at the Civil Rights Institute. And so when this concept came to us at the City of Riverside, it felt a way that we could support our artist community, because we are the City of Arts and Innovation, but it was also in an easy, beautiful way, a statement that we promote, we respect, and we want diversity, equity, and inclusion in all things we do.
I myself am a mosaic artist, and so I talked to Rochelle about the possibility of us creating an art piece, and she loved that idea. And soon Shay Tracy, who is also an educator, so we are three teachers. We started out on this endeavor to create this piece together and enlisted 14 artists to create the piece that you see here today.
As at that time, there was so much happening in the culture, in the world, surrounding Black Lives Matter, and some of the protests in terms of the police brutality that was happening. that I just felt I needed to do something as a mom of 2 boys. Each individual person, they worked on their own sketch of the artist, and they put the tiles together at their own home studio. And then towards the end, we collected the materials in waves, and then we kind of just put it all together a few weeks before the reveal. I want them to feel the love and intentionality that we put into the mural. I want it to awaken a curiosity about all of the people who we included in the mural, and to just get people to understand and to have more interest in Black history and in these contributing members.
As the City of Arts and Innovation, this was a really beautiful step towards including art pieces that are public and that are representative of everyone.
For the community, I hope that it shows that in being authentic and real and transparent and sharing our stories, great things can come out of it.
Welcome to In the Vault, a program of the Museum of Riverside. Today I'm going to share a little bit about the museum's herbarium, which is a collection of plant specimens, and a herbarium can be either dry or wet specimens, but mostly dry specimens, and that's what we have quite a bit of. It began with the early curator of botanic collections, Edmund Yeager, who started collecting specimens in the Riverside and San Bernardino area in the 1920s. Many of these specimens that he collected eventually wound up in our collection. But the real turning point was in 1949 when Charles and Wilhelmina Clark donated their collection, the Clark Herbarium, along with an endowment for the care of the collection and for botanical programs. And we've pulled out today just a couple of specimens, just a few specimens from the Clark Herbarium that are examples of Nevins barberry, which is an endangered species in our area, and you actually can acquire cultivated specimens of this plant from nurseries, but in the few areas where it grows naturally, it's under threat and has been added to the endangered species list. Now, this is how dried herbarium specimens are stored and collected. A herbarium specimen is of little use to us unless it comes with its collection data. So all this information is here, collected on a certain date in a certain location by a certain collector. And then the specimens are dried under certain conditions so that they don't attract mold, mildew, or other forces that can disintegrate them. Because they're dried, of course, they're very fragile, and we have to keep them in short stacks in carefully controlled environmental conditions. And you might wonder why we would have more than one example of the same species. And there's a reason for that, several reasons actually. First of all, comparing different examples of the same species can give information to researchers. And comparing specimens that have been collected over time can give researchers information about changing environmental conditions. And in the context of much research that's done today, for instance, climate change, we can learn much about how and where specimens were collected and what has happened to their morphology over time. It's also useful to have different specimen examples for genetic research, which is done today. Again, it was something that was, at the time these things were collected, no one even conceived of the kind of genetic research that would be done today. And now we have some of these specimens, which, of course, because they're in essence insect food, we have to keep very close watch on them to make sure no infestations get into our storage vault here. These cabinets behind me are the cabinets where we store the herbarium specimens, and they have to be inspected often to make sure that we have no problems. To go back to the Clark Herbarium, that portion of the Museum of Riverside's herbarium comprises about 10,000 specimens. Additional collectors, other collectors, John C. Roos, for instance, actually this one was collected by John C. Roos, have added to the herbarium and make it a reference point with almost a century's trajectory that allows it to be a tremendous resource for researchers who are interested in Southern California, particularly the inland Southern California plant community. We have a new incoming lot of specimens coming into the herbarium soon. We do continue to actively collect, and again, for some of those scientific reasons that might not necessarily have been anticipated at the time that earlier examples of some of the species were collected. So for instance, a researcher has recently gone out to some of the areas in Central and Southern California that are fire damaged and collecting plant specimens that are coming back after those fires so that we can study the kind of plant communities that thrive in those post-fire environments. Again, we cannot possibly imagine what kind of research may be done in the future that would make these specimens of great use to a scientist. And I should add as well, as my background is the fine arts, that there's a resurgence of interest among artists in looking at these kinds of collections and just seeing the visual beauty of them and seeing how the visual impact of a specimen can be translated into an aesthetic experience and to help connect people with nature in a way that is very vital right now. So again, thank you for joining us for this segment of In the Vault, and we do encourage you, particularly if you're a researcher, to contact us and arrange to have access to the herbarium collection. Thank you.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
Athletics builds character, teamwork, physical fitness,
And shows what hard work can achieve.
And some of us can even earn a college scholarship or qualify for the Olympics.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
Parents who lose their minds when we don't score aren't helping.
It can actually be super distracting. We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Even if you may not love the call.
Seeing and hearing people, belligerently be mean to you, it makes you not want to play anymore. It makes you just want to go sit on the sidelines and cry. It's not fun.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
Anger has no place here.
Thank you for being part of the change, and thank you for being there to lift us up.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. So please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe. California leads the nation in rail.
Number 1 against number 3. Number 1 Riverside against number 3 Mount Sac. We are even Steven, as they say. Not just on the scoreboard, Jeff. 16-16 is the score here as we start the third quarter. But 247 yards on offense for RCC. 247 yards on offense for Mount Sac. We have 2 turnovers for RCC, both interceptions. 2 turnovers for Mount Sac, both fumbles. Pretty even straight. You call that straight down the middle.
You call it straight down the middle, but normally you would say, hey, RCC is going to throw it through the air. They did not. Jake Retzlaff not his typical game, just 10 of 19 for 61 yards, and those 2 interceptions are huge. But the 1-2 punch of Mount Sac is Jastrap came in and relieved, had 84 yards through the air on that 2 possessions, and then Udengua had 131 through the air. So you flip-flop it. Normally it goes to RCC, but Mount Sac has done it through the air today.
Yeah, the coach's son definitely came in and helped out his team, Mount Sac. Jake Rastrab really gave them a lift. Sean Jastrab really gave them a lift in that first half to tie the game. But if you think about it, if you break it down, it's kind of really been a bit of a slugfest. And their 2 big plays, obviously the 70-yard touchdown run from Jake Retzlaff with 11:49 to play in the second quarter, and then with 55 seconds left, a 48-yard pass from Sean Jastrab to Brewer for the touchdown. So those are the 2 big plays. Other than that, it's really been a field goal battle between these 2 teams.
It has, and really the Jake Retzlaff has 114 yards on the ground as a quarterback, and that's the only thing that's really kept him really in this game from giving it away. 16-16. If you're RCC, you got to be happy going into halftime tied after the big mistakes, costly turnovers that led to touchdowns and, like you said, the kicking game.
The Mounties, though, did a great job. 13 unanswered points. They were down 16-3 and were tied at 16 at the half. RCC gets the ball to start the second half. So Norian and Norbert Espadron back deep. Esqueda will kick it away. Number 1 against number 3 in the state of California. Touchback.
The kickers have really kind of kept everybody in this game. They've done their job perfectly today.
The interesting thing, if you want to break it down, we talk about the offense, 384 pass yards per game for RCC, but they're also number 1 in the state in terms of first downs. And first downs means you keep control of the football. So if you're scoring, that's great, but also how much are you able to hold the ball and not let the other team get it? That's another part of the aspect of it.
Yeah, they just haven't seemed like themselves at all today.
1st and 10. Here's Jones trying to get outside, and down he goes. Having him down low was Joshua Taylor, then coming over the top. Mauloa Wells makes the hit.
Yeah, Riverside just 10 first downs in that first half. Mount Sac with 9. And Mount Sac, remember, in that first quarter only had 2 first downs to show for it.
1 yard loss, 2nd and 11 coming up from the 24. Lacey in the near slot, and now here's Reggie Retzlaff goes in motion. Jake looking, throwing. Complete out of the backfield to Jones. Jaquez Jones up over the 30, down at the 31-yard line, making the tackle on the play is Anthony Hebert, the sophomore. When I was talking with Coach Jastrab about his secondary, he actually accidentally called. He told me I called Hebert Herbert all of last year. I'll finish up that story in a little bit. 3rd and 4 from the 31. Big 3rd down situation. Trips to the top of the formation. Here's Tucker in motion. Pressure. Throw underneath. Close to a first down. A flag comes in on the play. Reggie Retzlaff makes the catch. Mason White on the coverage. Let's see what they call here. Jay Drury, our white hat today. So the penalty will give them a first down. They'll move the sticks. So I asked Coach Jastrab, and I normally don't do this. I try to be professional when I'm talking to coaches. I said, Coach, are you a Seinfeld fan at all? Because there's the one with George Costanza talks about Bobby Hebert, Herbert and Hebert. Anyway, he thought it was funny.
So was he a Seinfeld fan?
He is.
Oh, good.
I don't know if he's a fan. He said he's seen the episode. 1st and 10, line is the 36. Here's Strong running left side. Maybe a yard on the play. He runs right into the big fella, Dupre Mendoza, the sophomore, out of Arroyo High.
Bryce Strong with his 5th carry. His 43 yards today.
2nd and 8. Line is the 37. Retzlaff to the line, changing the play. Tucker to the far side. And Retzlaff's going to keep it. And he's down at the 40-yard line. Nice job reading the quarterback there by Joshua Taylor. Now, at halftime, I went down to the truck to get extra water. And because of the layout here, Mount Sac was having their locker room, in essence, outside just behind these stands. And their defensive line coach, was very emphasizing with the players, hey, when he runs, meaning Retzlaff, be cognizant of his ability to run. They did it on that play, 3rd down coming up. Line is the 40. Over the middle and knocked down. Keanu Mailoto, the freshman from Auburn, Washington, Mountain View High. He got a hand up there and knocked it down, 4th down coming up.
But I'll tell you what, that was Jake Retzlaff is just not being able to get rid of the football comfortably. He has everybody coming after him. He had Jacob Gaskin just now rushing him, and that's why that pass was an errant throw. He was really, really scrambling hard.
That's been a battle between Gaskin and LaFrance for the most part. The punt away from Campbell. Back deep is Allen. It'll be out of bounds. They'll say at the 24-yard line. So a 36-yard kick, no return, and that's where Mount Sac will start it up. They've scored 13 unanswered points, Jeff, 11:31 to play, and the defense has lived up to its billing. The number 1 defense in the state has given RCC all they can handle thus far.
Well, they're showing the blueprint of how to possibly beat this RCC team. I'd love to see RCC kind of get going here in the second half. They have not played. I should say the battle station is not fully operational yet.
So call it the 25. Here's the end around to Boyd trying to find the edge. Chased out there. He turns the corner, gets over the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Then Gage Summers chased him out. 2nd and 7, coming up. So Allen in the near slot, Brewer to the bottom of your screen for Mount Sac. 2nd and call at 6. Adrian Boyd again, and he runs headlong into the big fellow in the middle, Tasi Laufo, the sophomore from Rancho Cucamonga High, drops him at the 30-yard line, making it 3rd and 5.
Love to see Riverside make some big stop here on 3rd down, 3rd and 5. You know, it's probably going to go in the air. They're going to test this secondary. Let's see if Riverside can jump on it here.
4-man front here on 3rd and 5 and some movement. And here's Jastrap's throw to the outside, incomplete. He was looking for Xavier Rawls. In on the coverage was Keithan Gooden. Might have hit him a little prematurely. And here comes the punt team. So Laufo jumped on the play. Jumped on the play, but didn't make contact. You can jump and get back. As long as you get back, you're okay.
You can run a figure 8 around somebody if you get back.
DeKilo's punt. Fair catch signaled for, and he'll fair catch it. Will Espadron at the 23-yard line. So a 47-yard kick, no return. And that's where RCC starts it up. So the defense with a good start here in the second half. James Cook's unit 3 and out for Mount Sac.
Made a little adjustment there. You know, you bring in the backup to the backup quarterback, and at the end of the first half, maybe he saw something that they could stop here.
Well, they went more on the 3rd down at least. They went traditional more in the four-man front. They've been dropping their ends kind of in. You know, we've seen Salaudin in pass coverage in the first half, so maybe that's a little bit of a tweak. The line is the 24. It's 1st and 10. Retzlaff option. And that's Norian Espadron goes down behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard loss on the play. Linebackers done a nice job for Mount Sac today. We've seen a number of different guys. It's a very deep unit. And Coach Jastrab commented on how they've all worked well as a unit together and kind of gotten better week to week. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Another deflection. And Joshua Taylor just playing out of his mind tonight. The sophomore from Euless, Texas for Mount Sac. I believe he's the one that deflected that attempt, bringing up the 3rd down.
Yeah, I mean, we normally are used to seeing Retzloff, take a step back and in the pocket and is able to throw anywhere he wants. He can't even get to his reads because he is running on his heels the entire time. Great defensive effort here by the Mounties.
3rd down. He'll fling it complete. If it's complete, it's a 1st down, and it is. Norian Espadron makes the catch over the 30. They'll move the sticks up. He caught at the 37-yard line. So call it 1st and 10 from the 37. Jones accelerating over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Brought down on the play by Darius Eves. Eves, the freshman out of Claremont.
Jones now with 9 carries for 38 yards.
So a 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6 coming up. Retzlaff keeping it. And again, they're cognizant of it, trying to get outside. Aaron Smith was running resistance or running interference there for the defense. So 3rd down. Got up to at the 44. So making it a 3rd and 3 for RCC. Here's Reggie Retzlaff in motion. Here comes the pressure from Jake. And it's complete to the 41-yard line. That's Norbert Espadron. Mason White on the coverage. 10-yard pickup, move the sticks.
Norbert, not very tall, but goes up and gets a big one right there across the middle of the field.
That was a nice catch, too. White was draped all over him. A lot of people believe he's the best player in that Mount Sac secondary, which is pretty good all around. Tigers moving at the 40-yard line of the Mounties. Here's the give to Jones in the middle of the field. He's still on his feet. 2nd effort, he'll be taken down. They'll probably mark him up to at the 38-yard line. Hebert came out and snuffed that one out. So line judge, standing at about the 38. So clock continuing to move. Under 8 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Bunch formation up at the top of your screen. They'll give it right up the middle. This is Bryce Strong. Strong will hurdle up to about the 33. So 5 yards on the play, another 3rd and short. How about Tom Kraft going Woody Hayes here?
He is going Woody Hayes.
Third down and 3 for RCC. 3 receivers at the bottom of the formation. Gitchaway. Right next to him is Retzlaff. And then Espadron is nearest to the formation. Jake throwing to Reggie, and it's complete to the 11-yard line. Locked up one-on-one with Mason White, and Reggie Retzlaff went up and made a play.
I'll tell you what, we knew that play was as soon as that was hiked. Saw Reggie going deep. They've done that several times, the connection this season, but that is a huge one here in the 3rd quarter.
1st down to the 11. So Gitchaway on the far side. Far slot is Norbert Espadron. Reggie Retzlaff split out to the near side. Watch McClure, the tight end. Strong dancing to the left. Right behind McClure. Touchdown. Bryce Strong finds pay dirt for RCC. Tigers back in the lead. How about that drive, Jeff?
Man, that is what we've been used to seeing here from a Tom Kraft offense and a Jake Retzlaff-led offense.
So the 11-yard touchdown run by Bryce Strong makes it 22-16. Mariquin adds the PAT and a 7-point lead for the Tigers of RCC.
Give Mariquin the game ball. He has been missed a vision of consistency here for the Tigers.
They've returned one kick, meaning the Mounties, and that was about 4 yards deep. Hassani Hawkins tried to bring it out because there were all these touchbacks going down. Coach Jastrab claps his hands, sends a special teams unit out there. We got a ball game, Jeff. How about that?
This is great. Saturday afternoon matinee. Got the band here. About 9,000 cheerleaders.
The Spirit Squad here. The band is here for RCC. A nice contingent of Mount Sac fans out here. And why not? It's the number 1 team in the state against the number 3 team in the state.
And not a bad little drive coming out from where? Is it Nogales?
Walnut.
Walnut, that's right.
Right there off the 60, just off the 60. Hawkins and Ayaro back deep for Mount Sac. Let's see if Mariquin can keep his streak going. Every kick has gone into the end zone, every kickoff. Wow, short kick. Fielded at about the 13-yard line. This is Ayaro. He'll get over the 30 to about the 32. Tackle made on the play by RCC by Jayon Farrar. Farrar out of Donovan Catholic in Highland, New Jersey, makes the tackle.
A little extracurricular, guys shoving and pushing a little bit there.
Well, you know it's going to be a spirited game. These are rivals, and they're playing for the top spot in the state. So the offense back out there for the Mounties. They've saw their 13-point streak end with a touchdown for RCC. And Sean Jastrab has done a great job injecting some life into this team. He came in relief of the starter, Ike Udengwa. From the 33, and they'll blow it dead. It'll be a delay game on Mount Sac. Oh, instead, they won't. They'll call timeout. So to avoid the penalty, to avoid the mark-off, the Mounties call timeout. I want to talk a little bit about, Bob Jastrab, the head coach in his 17th year. He's won 154 games at Mount Sac. But what I want to talk about is he and Tom Kraft are great friends. We were down on the field before the game, and they spent a good 15, 20 minutes kind of standing next to each other and chatting. And I was talking with Coach Jastrab, and he said, man, I wish he never left. Because
they're buddies.
We respected him when he was at Palomar. When I had the opportunity to have him on my staff, I jumped at the position, the opportunity to do it, and they won 3 league titles. They went to 3 straight state title games, and in 2009 they finally won the state championship and ultimately the national championship together. And Tom Kraft parlayed that into the job at RCC, where he's done an amazing job. I think 118 over 18, but it's just great to see 2 coaches, and Tom Kraft, to his credit, told me I have nothing but good things to say about Mount San Antonio College. My experience there.
That's great to hear from sometimes ball coaches can be rough and gruff, but it's nice to see 2 very, very successful coaches.
1st and 10 over the middle, short hops it. Don Willie's on the coverage. Intended receiver was Cadam, the freshman out of Bonita. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And you did tell me about the Coach Jastrab played himself, and I was a little shocked when you told me where he played.
He played at Mount Sac, obviously, but the U played for Jimmy Johnson.
That's great. That is so cool.
23-16 is the score here, as it's a 2nd and 10 play from the 33. Jastrab, the younger one, rolling to the outside, throws complete to Cadam, and he gets lit up. Oh my! Like Danny Aiello in Godfather 2, Kenton Allen says hello.
Watch this hit.
Gain up to the 39-yard line, about 6 yards, 3rd and 4. And Cadam earned every one of those yards. So 3rd down coming up. It looks like a 3-man front for RCC. Summers will step up into the gap. Here's the snap. Here comes the blitz. Throw over the middle. In and out of the hands of Cadam. Summers there on the coverage. So fourth down coming up, and James Cook's defense has stood up twice here in the third quarter.
I'll tell you what, they've made their adjustments at halftime, and it looks like the momentum right now is in favor of Riverside.
I had a great talk with Tom Kraft about how he came across and met James Cook. 4th and 4 coming up. DeKilo out to punt it for Mount Sac. Espadron from the 14. This Norian Espadron win to the outside. Gets over the 30, where it's finally moved out of bounds. Making the tackle for Mount Sac is Toale Lafau. So a good, about a 48-yard kick and a 20-yard return up to the 36-yard line. So good field position for RCC. But I didn't realize how long James Cook's been in the game. He bounced around a little bit, and when Tom Kraft finally came to RCC, he was available, and he'd come on campus, and Tom Kraft said, let's do this. 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle all the way to midfield. Hurdling up is Jaquez Jones.
Yeah, Jaquez Jones now.
So it looks like the offensive line for RCC has found the rhythm. Remember, Sheffley is left, so they had to adjust some players on that front line. From the 49 of Mount Sac, and flags come in on the play. So Anthony LaFrance on the false start. It is his first game in a couple of weeks. You don't blame him. But they lost Brody Schlaffe, and Alan Rennie, who's played in place of LaFrance the last couple of weeks, has now slid in at the left guard spot. Rennie from Palmdale, Paraclete High School product, will bring up 1st and 15 after the 5-yard mark-off. Jordan Williams in motion right up the middle again. Jaquez Jones spinning to the Mount Sac side of the field, and he's escorted down by Lance Russell. It's about 8-yard pickup, 10-yard pickup on the play, so call it 2nd and 5. And they found something in the middle of that defense.
They have, and they've really kind of taken control of the clock as well.
Again, Jones kind of running middle, and down he'll go, hit on the play by Caton Supernant, the freshman from Upland. Leads his team. He's a leading tackler on the team. 3rd down and 3. Thrown to the outside. Back shoulder incomplete. Jawan Tucker was the intended receiver. Maloa Wells, the sophomore for Mount Sac, on the coverage out of Chino Hills High.
Yeah, they're just running body to body down that sideline.
And this secondary is a great unit for Mount Sac. They are very good. White, Smith has impressed me. Wells has impressed me. Abear, obviously everybody knows about him. Lance Russell has been good. 4th and 4 coming up. And the punt team on for RCC in the middle of the field. Jaden Allen back at his 10-yard line to receive the punt. Jared Campbell's kind of been up and down today. Let's see what he can do here. They want him to pin Mount Sac deep. From the 43 is the kick, and a fair catch called at the 10-yard line, so a 33-yard kick, no return. And that's where Mount Sac will tee it up with 3:53 to play in the third quarter, 23-16. Ghazal Hassan with you, along with Jeff Gorham down on the field. We got the great Nick Rice. So officially call it the 11-yard line. That's where Mount Sac will tee it up. And this would be a good point on the field, Jeff, if RCC is looking for a turnover. Wide split on the offensive line. Here's the quick throw. Oh, and it was right there.
He'd have jumped the gap. He might have had a shot there.
He was looking for Brewer, but right there was Bryce Tate, the sophomore out of Tempe. He reacts a little bit sooner. That's a pick six. In that case, almost, I think what Tate was doing, he was worried about the illegal contact or whatnot. But I think if you play the ball, that's a good risk to take. Just go for the ball, and if you jump over if you bump into the receiver, you hope they don't flag you. 2nd and 10. Complete to the outside, out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Ball's complete to Lucas Moore, the sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia, Milton High School. Born in San Diego, but grew up in Georgia. 3rd and 4 coming up.
He left San Diego for Georgia?
The family did.
Okay, good. I was just have to say. No one makes that choice on purpose.
Had an uncle playing the NFL. Third down and 4. Line is the 18. Jastrab pulls it down, and down he goes. On the blitz came Kenton Allen, the sophomore from Vegas.
No, that was a huge play right there for Riverside. Now they're going to get the ball in great field position. They better hurry and get on the field. They're getting ready to punt here.
Ben Tequila. He was actually going to head to Annapolis. He attended Navy Prep in the summer of 2020. But, of course, that was that COVID summer. Good kick. Oh, wow. Great bounce. And the ball back to the 15-yard line. So he'll get credit for a 72-yard kick, Jeff.
And, of course, they throw a flag after the play. Let's see what this is about.
If that's on Mount Sac, you make him re-kick it, don't you?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Let's see what Jay Drury has to say.
I think they could tack on to this here.
See, they should give him the option of making him re-kick it. Oh, unless it was after the play, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So you'll move the ball up to about the 30-yard line. So ball moves up, and Mount Sac again turned away by the defense. Now, obviously all the headlines for the Mount Sac defense, but in the second half in particular, RCC's defense has really stood up.
They have, and they've made adjustments that first half. A lot of screen passes from Mount Sac there in the first half, but Riverside's adjusted by putting 2, 3, 4 guys on the receivers.
Retzlaff split to the near side. Near slot is Norbert Espadron. The give to Strong. He had the touchdown earlier, and he'll be wrestled down by Hebert after a couple of yard pickup.
Flag on the play there.
You don't know the pleasure it was for me when I talked to Coach Jastrab to be able to say to him, Herbert Hebert. Bobby Hebert, of course. Wow.
Man, that's a huge call against Riverside.
I mean, that's Big Ed Riley. That is their best offensive lineman. Riley, their center, a sophomore out of St. John Bosco. And Tom Kraft. You know, Tom Kraft isn't always so generous with his compliments, but he said, hey, Big Ed, that's our best guy. You know, they was unequivocal. That's our top guy. He's got a number of offers. That'll move back to the 18-yard line. So second down coming up. The give up the middle. Still fighting. I believe that's Strong. Up over the 25.
Yeah, it's definitely getting chippy out there.
Been very physical all game. And a couple of unsportsmanlike penalties back and forth here. Some chirping probably going on. Clock continues to move. It'll be a third down. RCC needs to get to the 41-yard line So it's about 3rd and 15 right now. 2-by-2 for RCC, and Strong comes out, so empty set coming up now. Retzlaff will take it himself. Jake dancing outside, down at about the 39-yard line. So give him 13 yards on the play, brings up 4th and 2.
Very much like that play in the first half, where Retzlaff ran for 70+. Just had an opening up the middle there, but not enough to get the first down for the Tigers.
And Tom Kraft will be content to play the field position game. He'll bring Jared Campbell out to punt it away. And the wind becoming a factor a little bit too. So let's see what he can do here, meaning Campbell.
It's kind of a blustery day now.
A little bit. The ball hit a RCC player. It'll pick right up at the 32-yard line. So it'll be a short kick, about a 30-yard kick. Well, you know what they say, Jeff.
What do they say, Gasol?
The autumn wind is a pirate.
You are
the great John Facenda, of course.
Yes, you are the great. Yeah, look at the goalpost flags or the American flag. You know, I'm the amateur meteorologist. I'm going to say that's about a 13-mile-an-hour gust going from the north to northeast. You like that?
It's good. It sounds very credible.
I am credible. I went to school for 17 and a half years. I'm no dummy.
There's a penalty. I'm not quite sure who they're going to mark it off against. Looks like Mount Sac.
Yeah.
Do you have any penalty numbers there?
I do. Let me find them here.
I'm going to throw Mike Martinez under the bus. So Mike's doing stats today, and that's our guy. But he said his printer's broken, so he can't get us any stats. We have to rely on the live stats, which we can't always see because there's a glare and there's a delay. Take you behind the helmet a little bit. Okay. So the penalty marked off. It was against RCC. It'll be 1st and 10. Good field position. The 44-yard line. Udengwa back in the game. They'll give the ball to Adrian Boyd up the middle. Nice job. He gets to the RCC side of the field. Tripped up. I believe that was Don Willies who tripped him up.
No, we don't have the penalties. I only have RCC with 1, and Mount Sac with 0. So our
come on, Mike.
Stats are not coming up.
Little shovel pass off to Jaden Allen trying to get the edge, and he can't. He'll be stopped right there. Tupou looked like he got in there. Man, it's got to be tough to get the edge when you're running to Talib Salahuddin's side. That'll be a little trickeration before you do that as we're down to the end of the third quarter here nearly.
Now, when you run to his side and you see him, you just fall down because you don't want to get hit by that.
And actually, that's Tupou playing the outside there. Salahuddin is back in coverage again. Malifeo Tupou out of John W. North. Here comes Salahuddin on the rush, and down goes Udengwu. Salahuddin, blitzing from a stand-up position, drops him for a 5-yard loss, and that's the end of the third quarter. The general makes a play.
2 weeks in a row, big-time sacks and big-time possessions. Salahuddin, I tell you what, he's my favorite Tiger to watch play.
I mean, he's a guy who rises to the occasion. Remember, he had the scoop and score against Long Beach, and just so incredibly talented, and he's got a number of offers. Let's talk about this a little bit. So I was talking with Tom Kraft, and you know how the trend now has become to tweet about offers and whatnot.
I mean, that's all we see.
But he said, you know, it's like, I'm not going to tell guys to not do it, but like, we definitely have an attitude here where, hey, you guys are going to get opportunities to play. And he's not a big fan of that because you never know if it's legit or not and all that stuff. Because they'll offer, you know, a coach will come watch a team and they'll offer a bunch of guys. You don't know how legitimate it is. But he said, you know, hey, we have 10 or 15 players legitimately looking at D1 opportunities after the year. It depends on a lot of things. You know, grades are involved in that and whatnot, transcripts and stuff. But he says, you know, I like to keep that kind of a little bit kind of quiet under the vest. He goes, hey, once the season's over, go nuts. You know, tell us where you're going. We're proud of you at the end of the season. but very, very interesting. You know, it's almost like very meticulous how he approaches everything.
Yeah, well,
you
you
know?
have to be. I mean, that's, you know, he's from the age of pre-internet stuff. He doesn't want to see that. And honestly, it's a team game. Keep those things under your cap.
But what I liked about it, he said, I get it.
Yeah, of
I
course.
understand, but we do business a certain way. Third down from midfield. Udengwu under some pressure. Over the middle, it's complete. Nyanga Makenga has the first down. Nice late throw. Again, Udengwu extends the play a little bit, dances a little bit, and gets the reception from his fullback. Nyanga Makenga, man, he's been pretty good for them. He was off the field for a little bit. I wondered why. So they marked it at 4th and 1, and now there's some confusion. I thought it was a first down.
I did too.
They marked it to the 36. So while they figure out where they're going to spot it, let's go down to Nick Rice.
All right, I'm here with Jose Alcala, part of the Board of Trustees at Riverside College. Jose, how'd you get involved with the program, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I'm a teacher in Moreno Valley, and as soon as I got elected, I made a commitment to the students here at Riverside Community College District, and so whether it's visual performing arts or our student athletes, I'm out here as much as possible.
So you do wear a whole bunch of hats here.
Yes. But most importantly, supporting our student athletes, our community, and our staff and faculty that support these young men and women.
So how exactly do you help with the athletics program here at RCC?
Well, first of all, as much as just being out here and showing the community that we're involved in everything that happens, I'll give you an example. You know, there was a need of facilities at Riverside City, and so when the need came up, we got on board and said, how can we make sure that we can remedy the situation there as soon as possible? And so, we did what we could to make sure that hopefully next year we're back at the city campus. So.
Yeah, pretty frustrating with the with the Wheelock Stadium being down and having to play games here. Do you know much about that process, and also do you know if there's any other improvements up the pike for the athletics programs?
Well, I know the immediate need is the field and track, and then I believe it's like one of the throwing fields for the track program. Long term, I would hope the community comes out and supports a bond, unless there's another fix where it's maybe a multi-use with the community partners. But long term, it's that bond that needs to pass so that we can make that big change and upgrade to the facilities. I like to say the facilities need to at some point match the types of programs that we have here on campus.
Already a football state championship recently. Since you just joined the program, I wonder if there's any correlation between the two. We're joined by Jose Alcala, the Board of Trustees here at RCC. So for those people who are watching and don't know about this school, don't know about this athletics program, can you tell them a little bit about what it's like working with RCC and about what this program is?
So working with the program, I look at all of the dedicated folks that are out here. I look on that sideline and you just look up and down, you see just admin, staff, students, everybody comes out to support these young men and women. As far as the program goes, it's top notch. You're looking at some of the best athletes in the state. Yeah, this is the first year I got there. The first year I got here, unfortunately, I think they made it to state and lost the first time. The next year, they win. Last year, they lose. So I'm expecting it's an even year. We're going to win it again. And just coming out here, letting the community know you have a top-notch quality program in your backyard. Come out and support, and the stands show that folks are coming out.
Jose Alcala, Board of Trustees, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, back to you.
So thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick and Jose, for that. When they went off for the measurement, they ended up giving him a first down, and there have been 2 consecutive pass interference penalties on RCC, if you've watched. And so the ball goes down to the 10-yard line, where it'll be first and goal for Mount Sac here. 23-16 as we start the fourth quarter. RCC on top of Mount Sac. This has been a great battle between the number 1 and number 3 teams in the state. Udengwu looks back. Looks like he's signaling 3 seconds.
It's 3 in the key. Turnover.
That's our umpire, Michael Lay. So I guess, yeah, from the 21, they marked it half the distance, but it's PI, so you mark it the full distance. So first and goal from the 6. Udengwa to Rawls, incomplete. Nice job on the coverage there by Bryce Tate for RCC, and second and goal coming up.
It's a huge defensive stance here. They have to make a stop here.
So Mount Sac, touchdown-wise in the red zone, 19 of 34 this year coming in. Turn and give. Down to the 1-yard line, Muhammad Nyanga Mukenga, the sophomore from Brooklyn. Third and goal. They've had good success with Nyanga Mukenga. I'm guessing it's probably a condition issue. He's a big guy. Probably can't, not a guy who can tote the ball 30 or 40 times. Unbalanced look. Here's the toss to the outside. Nyanga Mukenga goes behind one of his offensive linemen, and he's in for the touchdown.
I mean, they came straight out of the huddle, went off balance, and just took it right in.
It's the touchdown for the Mounties, and they'll look to tie the game here. So a couple of penalties by RCC helping the drive. And the Mounties will have an opportunity here with the PAT to make it a 23-23 game, and there it is. And we're all tied here with 13:27 to play. Just when it looked like maybe RCC had wrested control, here come the Mounties of Mount Sac, and they tie the ball game.
They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They ran the correct routes. They drew on some fouls, pass interference fouls, some personal fouls against Riverside. And I'll tell you what, that if they continue to do this through the fourth quarter, it's going to be a long, long night and a long drive home just down the street from Riverside.
So they'll turn it back around. A good stop by the Mounties defense. Got to stop when they needed to. And they turned the ball around, and they put the ball into the end zone. How big was that punt that flipped the field?
Oh, huge.
Esqueda with the kick. From the 4-yard line, Espadron. This is Norian Espadron. Still on his feet, still dancing. And down he goes to the 14-yard line. Stepping up and making the tackle, Reynard Bass. Bass, a sophomore linebacker out of Oak Hills in Hesperia. That is an SEC name. If your name is Reynard Bass, you should be playing in the SEC.
And Espadron nearly lost the football once again as he was spinning. That ball left his hands. He was quick enough to grab it again. But
So Tiger football, and here's now Mount Sac's defense. They've already got 2 picks today. This is a prime spot on the field for a big play. So if you're RCC, you want to figure out a way to get some yards without opening yourself up potentially to the big haymaker from the Mounties defense. Retzlaff going to go for it all. He's got Tucker one-on-one with Wells. Ooh, flag on the play, huh?
Yeah. I think they're going to call pass interference.
There have been a lot of hand fighting. I mean, I think as long as nobody gains an advantage, I think you let that go. I'll be honest, I don't know watching that. I don't know, you think differently. Did he get an advantage from hand fighting, you think, on that?
No, I thought it was, I don't think it was a good call, to be honest with you. And they've let him play with it all day long. It's just they've tightened it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. If you're going to allow it, you need to allow it all game. Tucker split out to the near side. Here's the run play up the middle. Gaskin there. along with Dupre Mendoza, and here comes another flag. So Strong on the run for RCC. Let's sort out the penalty.
I think somebody threw a punch.
Looks like he got up about 3 yards. So the Zebras giveth, the Zebras taketh away from RCC. They'll mark that back 15 yards. It'll go back to the 19-yard line.
And how many times have you and I said this, Gazal? Can't make mistakes in big-time games. You just can't make mental mistakes.
Well, especially at this portion
Yes.
of the field, you don't want to be making those mistakes. So first down and 25 from the 19. Retzlaff stepping up. He'll complete the ball to the other Retzlaff. Reggie with the straight arm of Lance Russell up to the 38-yard line. 23-yard pickup. They're close to a first down. First down just over the 40.
Boy, they gave him a great spot, didn't they?
And that was the first throw we've seen all night that Jake kind of hit in rhythm.
Yeah.
Strong bounces it outside. He'll have the first down and more, trying to strip the ball away. And finally, he's pulled down. Lance Russell on the tackle, but the sticks move up for RCC. Clock continues to move after they'll reset the chains. They found something, Jeff, in terms of the offense for RCC, that interior with those inside runs.
Yeah, they've been getting about 3-4 yards a carry on those.
Play action. Retzlaff has some time. Now it breaks down a little bit. He'll roll to the outside, throw to his brother Reggie, and they'll say it's complete up to about the 47-yard line. So 3 yards on the play. Clock continues to move.
Hey, if you're Coach Kraft, you're going to take as much time off the clock as you can. Get it as close as you can because you know you have a great leg on the sidelines that can put you ahead.
From the 48, here's Strong, finds some room. Slithers up to the second level, and finally he's whipped down at about the 40-yard line. 10-yard pickup on the play. Aaron Smith makes the tackle for Mount Sac. Smith has been very good. That entire secondary, Jeff, has been very good for Mount Sac.
They have been dominant all game long. RCC now still with 3 timeouts, I believe, and Mount Sac with 2. So
Strong in motion out of the empty set. Here comes the jailbreak, and Retzlaff will weave up and go down at the 38-yard line. Making the tackle again is Aaron Smith for Mount Sac. 2nd and 10 coming up. Part of it is they want to score, obviously, but also you want to keep the clock moving a little bit.
you want to move that clock down as much as possible.
So they call it 9. Reggie Retzlaff split out to the far side. Far slot is Lacey. Split out to the near side is J.J. Tucker. In the near slot is Alfred Jordan. Here's the give to Strong. And Strong up the middle, tackled. Making the play, Matthias Soleda, the freshman from Hesperia, another Oak Hills player for Mount Sac. That's another part of this whole equation that makes it really intriguing. RCC and Mount Sac are kind of recruiting from a lot of the same region.
Yeah, the same recruiting pool, and a lot of these guys have played against each other in high school.
3rd and 6 from the 36 of the Mounties. Retzlaff to throw. Looking outside. One-on-one is Jordan, and he couldn't hold on to it. Lance Russell on the coverage for Mount Sac. 4th down coming up.
That looked like a very catchable ball, actually, as you can see here on the replay. And that was right on the money.
Offense looks like it's staying out there, Jeff. This is big. This is the matchup right here. Best passing offense in the state against the best defense in the state. 4th and 6, here we go. Retzlaff, a little bit airmails it to his brother. Ball over on downs to Mount Sac.
Wow. He's open. Just the ball was thrown just a bit high.
Maybe rushed it a little bit, but man, I ain't never going to second guess Jake Retzlaff.
Never.
Man, he's been so good. So now it's on the defense for RCC. Mounties first and 10 from the 36. Nyanga Makenga, second effort. First down, finally goes down. Moorer pushes him down at about the 48. Got a 12-yard pickup on the play for the big fella. And I said it last drive. I was wondering why they don't ride that horse.
He is a beast. He is Christian Okoye-esque.
There you go. That's a great throwback. 6'2", 240. And just between the tackles, kind of what RCC's been doing. Nyanga Makenga out of Brooklyn by way of Compton College where he played last year. And he'll get about 3 yards on that play.
If they can keep getting 3-4 yards of carry from that man, keep feeding it.
Malifeo Tupou in on the tackle. I think Silva Navarro had his nose around the football. Second down coming up. They're on the RCC side of the field now. RCC goes for it on fourth down and comes up short. And now Mount Sac with an opportunity. Ike Udengwa back at quarterback. Second down, here's a throw to the near side. Complete to Allen. Slips one tackle, but not the second. Finally down, but he'll have a first down. 37-yard line. Summers and Moore combine on the hit. 10-yard pickup. Sticks move up.
Riverside against the ropes here.
And remember, both kickers have been very good. So you probably another 10 yards or so from field goal range for Mount Sac, but they're thinking touchdown.
Yeah, thinking touchdown and momentum. Hey, we're going to keep this ball on the ground. We're not going to turn it over, and let's see if they can.
Rawls to the far side, Brewer to the near side. In the far slot, Jaden Allen. Now he comes in motion. Here comes the pressure. Udengwa looking into the corner for Brewer. Brewer and Tate knocks it away. He grabbed the jersey a little bit, but no flag as far as I can see. Nice job by Tate knocking it away.
Yeah, that was just great defense. That ball was underthrown, too, so it was.
So they take the shot, and it's 2nd and 10. Good shot taken by Cameron Dean, the new offensive coordinator for Mount Sac, his first year.
I was a little shocked they threw it, but I guess in second down, not a bad play. First down there.
2nd and 10, line is the 38. Udengwa with the play fake. Over the middle, it's complete to the tight end, Zenwu. They've been trying to get him in the game all afternoon, and he rumbles down inside the 20 to about the 16. 22-yard pickup to the tight end. Zenwu, a Fontana kid out of Etiwanda High.
Zenwu looks like he got a stinger on his shoulder, goes directly to the tent.
So clock moving.
They're now within field goal range.
Oh, easy. So mark it at the 18. Here's the give. Nyanga Makenga rumbling, stumbling all the way down inside the 5. About a 15-yard run for the big guy.
That's like if you gave Conan the Barbarian a football and said, run it up the throat of the big snake.
That's right. Yeah, there's some Schwarzenegger stuff going on there, the big fella.
Man.
And just he keeps his shoulders square. He keeps his body moving.
I just wish he had those big old Eric Dickerson shoulder pads. He'd look like he was 30 feet tall.
First and goal from the 3 for Mount Sac. Here's the give. Nyanga Kagenga down after about a 1-yard pickup. Logoleo getting low on that one.
If you're at Mount Sac, take your time on offense here.
Well, this is where you wanted it. This is you know, if you're Coach Jastrab and the Mounties, this is how you wanted the game to proceed. And now you're down to the final 7 minutes of the game, and you're 2nd and goal from the 3. Big ask here for the defense for the Tigers. 2nd down. Udengwu on the option. Can he get in? He stopped short. Summers over there along with Moorer and Talib Salahuddin. Third down.
Clock is running.
I just give it to the big fella. I don't know about you, Jeff. I just hand the ball to 32.
That's exactly what you do. I'm upset if you don't.
So Rawls to the bottom of your screen in the near slot. That's Allen. And now timeout. So Bob Jastrow calls a timeout, 23-23. It's turned into a thriller. And Bob Jastrow knows a couple of things about thrillers. His last year at Miami, he was on the field for the great Maryland comeback against Frank Reich came in and rallied the Terrapins past the Hurricanes. And then he was in the building for the Doug Flutie Hail Mary to Gerard Phelan the next week. And then a month later, they played in the Fiesta Bowl against UCLA and lost 39-37. That was a good team. They ended up 8-5. And they had 3 losses were all thrillers.
Well, those are 3 losses.
Yeah.
He might be on the end of a winner today here.
And now it's 23-23, and Mount Sac knocking on the door here. If they can get into the end zone, they have a lead. I think that right now they're drawing up their best 2-point conversion play, right?
Working on it, say, hey, big fella, we're just going to give it to you. Conan, run it up the middle.
James Cook's defense needs to figure something out here. I'm guessing if they stop them on third, they'll probably take the points because gives you the lead with 6:12 to play. Although you never know. You're playing the number 1 team. You got to put the champion on the canvas. You try to do that.
You got to put Hercules up against
Hercules.
They go. They're going to go quick here.
Bianga Makenga in the backfield. They'll give it to him. He'll run right, and he's not going to get it.
No.
First man there was Summers, and then his buddy showed up to help out. Making the tackle for RCC at the end there. I think they'll credit Focia. And they're going to go for the 3. So a great job there by the defense for RCC. Bent but did not break. And the 3 points off the foot of Escada, about a 21-yard field goal attempt. Escada puts it up, and it's good. And it's a 26-23 lead. So Mount Sac with their first lead of the afternoon with 5:31 to play. And they're very confident in putting it in the hands of their defense.
If you are Riverside, I'd love to see my favorite player, Jake Retzlaff, come alive. He only has 142 yards through the air. He's just 17 of 31. He's given up 2 interceptions. But he has hit, I believe, 9 or 10 different receivers.
Hey, they've done a nice job keeping the passing game in front of them, meaning the Mounties. But the Tigers have been able to run the football, and at 5:31 to play, with 2 of your timeouts, you can still do that. No timeouts left for Mount Sac at this point. So here's the return. Espadrone coming up. He'll catch the ball at the 15. He made a fair catch.
I was a little surprised they made that fair catch. Were you?
Dorian Espadrone.
I thought he had some room around him. He could have gone, made a play there.
So you fair catch it. It comes out as a touchback to the 25. So he got the 10 free yards. I guess he figured I'm not going to be able to get 10 more yards, so let's just do it. So here it comes down to the fourth quarter, Jeff. 1st and 10 from the 25. Strong dancing outside. Up to the 30-yard line. So about 4 yards on first down, 2nd and 6 coming up. Tackle on the play, Keanu Ma'iloto out of Auburn, Washington, the freshman. 2nd and 6, they go right back to Strong. He finds some space and spins down. He'll have the first down to the 36.
And no timeouts left for Mount Sac. 2 left for RCC.
Lance Russell makes the tackle for the Mounties. Clock stops as the chains move. 36-yard line. So Jordan Williams split out to the far side. Get your way to the near side for RCC. In the far slot, that's Norbert Espadron. 1st and 10 from the 36. Here comes the blitz. The handoff to Strong, still on his feet, and now he goes down. Toalea Lafau makes the hit, the freshman. His younger brother, Leona, is committed to the University of Texas. So how about that? Arch Manning heading for Texas, as is Leona Lafau. Reminds me of an old line from Joe Pantaleone when he met Frank Sinatra. They're both from Hoboken. And Sinatra walks away saying, think about that. He'll never be the most famous guy from Hoboken. As good as Leona is, the number one guy in that recruiting class will always be Arch Manning. 2nd and 11. Throw to the outside. Strong's got a little room. He'll stiff arm up to about the 40-yard line, and it'll be a 3rd down coming up. Nice job by Lafau getting over there for the defense. Here we go again. 3rd down against the number 1 passing game against the number 1 defense.
RCC just 7 of 16 today on 3rd down conversions, 44%. Let's see if they can do it here.
Play action. Retzlaff looking. He's got time over the middle. And in and out of the hands of Norion Espadron.
He was wide open. Pass was made. Just
catchable ball for sure. And here we go. 4th down.
And they're going to have to punt.
So 3:32 with 2 timeouts. That's the move. Put it in the hands of your defense. I don't think they'd run a fake at this point, but you never know. Campbell needs to boom one here. They need a good kick from Campbell, who's been kind of up and down today, and delivers. Fair catch signaled for, and Jaden Allen will catch it at the 25-yard line. Jordan Williams got to be careful with that. So here we go. This is the ball game. 1st and 10 from the 25. And the defense coming out for the Tigers. Can somebody make a play? 26-23, Mount Sac. The Mounties trailed this game, Jeff, 16-3. The end of the first half on a 13-0 run. And the teams exchanged touchdowns here in the second half. And the field goal off the foot of Diego Esqueda has been the difference in the game thus far. Here's the handoff. Nyanga Makenga. We wrestled down after about a 1-yard pickup on the play. Tupou Summers combined with Silva Navarro.
And they're going to run this down as much as they can with no timeouts left. They're going to try to force.
I think starting 3rd down, the Tigers will start taking timeouts.
They're going to have to.
1st down obviously changes all that. So Ike Dengwa, the sophomore QB for Mount Sac, managing the clock, looking to his offensive coordinator. 2nd down coming up. Here's the snap. They'll give to the big fella. Running to the right side. He'll be bent back at about the 29-yard line. Tupou was there for RCC. Also getting up from the bottom of the pile was Hugh Peterson Lewis out of Cajon, the sophomore. And now timeout RCC as we go to 3rd and 5. So here's the game right here. 2:39 to play, a 3rd and 5 play. I'm guessing that Mount Sac keeps it on the ground to make Tom Kraft use that last timeout. They have incredible, why not, right?
Yes.
Incredible confidence in that defense to get a stop. Just 1 touchdown here in the second half for RCC. They scored at 6:43 of the 3rd quarter, an 11-yard run by Bryce Strong. Number 1 against number 3, Jeff. It's lived up to its billing.
It really has, and I will say this. I was just sitting here thinking RCC never felt like they were in a groove offensively or defensively the entire game. There didn't seem to be a rhythm.
So 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Xavier Rawls split out to the top of your screen. Brewer, Allen, and Moore to the near side. This is Lucas Moore in motion. Udengwa to throw. Over the middle. Incomplete. Nice play by Bryce Tate. Tate steps right in front of Tremont Brewer and knocks it down. It's a 4th down.
Yeah, I was a little shocked that they threw on that down. I mean, that stops the clock. And
the incompletion definitely stops the clock. You'd like to keep it running, and now a timeout left for Tom Kraft. So here's the punt coming up. Espadron stands at the 33-yard line of RCC. Punting it away is Ben Tequila out of Laverne. Nice punt. Very good punt.
Oh, man.
And it takes a Mount Sac bounce. We'll get to the end zone.
Yeah.
And what a break.
Oh.
Great effort hustling down there for Mount Sac. How about Mario Martinez out of Reseda trying to save it in?
We have a flag on the play, though. No. Warning, okay.
So it's a warning. The next time they need to be warned, it is a penalty. So ball comes out to the 20. And that's where RCC will start at 2:26 left. They're down by 3 points.
Be great to see him getting rhythm here finally tonight here. 2:26 to go.
Trying to engineer a game-winning drive against the number 1 defense in the state. Play action. Retzlaff looking. Throws. Complete. First down, they'll mark it up to the 33. So 2:14 to play. They'll reset the chains. Now the clock moves. Fumble. Strong picks it up. And down he goes. I believe that was Hebert back there along with Gaskin. They've both been tremendous all game. Tom Kraft there signaling in plays. See Jaquez Jones kind of tucked behind his head coach. 4-yard loss, 2nd and 14, back to the 29. Retzlaff got time. Strong, and right there on top of him is Hebert. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Once again, we're going to go down to that 3rd down efficiency. Riverside just 41%, 7 of 17. And they make it 8 of 18 here.
Middle of the field, incomplete. And it comes down to this play, the 4th down play. 4 white shirts enveloped Alfred Jordan there. The Mount Sac faithful rise to their feet. They're excited about this one. 4th and 9. They need a 43 for a first down. Retzlaff rolling, looking. Retzlaff weaving up. He'll throw it over the middle. And what a clutch catch at midfield. How about Reggie Retzlaff on the Mount Sac side of the field? A big 4th down conversion.
Brother to brother.
Oh, brother, is what Mount Sac's saying. First down from midfield, just under a minute to go. Retzlaff standing back with time. Keeps the ball, and he goes down at the 49-yard line. Now timeout, Tom Kraft. So probably need about 20 yards to get into Jacob Mariquin's range here.
You could go OT.
So it's a 2nd and 9. The middle of the field has been, Mount Sac's been doing a nice job in the middle of the field. They've not, meaning RCC hasn't been able to get much yardage in the middle of the field prior to that last play to Reggie Retzlaff. And that's because maybe a bit of a breakdown. So the official now will call up to the booth, and they're going to put 3 seconds back on the clock. I guess Tom Kraft, between the time he called the timeout and was signaled for, there was a little bit of a delay. 26-23, Mount Sac in the lead They are 53 seconds from knocking off the #1 ranked team in the state. It's been a good one. Thanks for joining us. Gazelle Hassan with you, along with Jeff Gorham. Down on the sideline is Nick Rice. And, of course, our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. 53 seconds to go in this one. Here comes Retzlaff back out on the field. 3 receivers to the top of the formation. Jawan Tucker down to the bottom of your screen. Rolling right is Retzlaff. He'll fling it to his brother Reggie. He'll catch the ball at about the 43-yard line, so a 6-yard pickup there. He gets out of bounds. It'll be 46 seconds to play. Nice job, though, by the defense of Mount Sac, not leaving a whole lot out there for Jake Retzlaff, Jeff.
No, they are not. They've got to get, where would you say, the 30, 35?
Inside the 40. They got to get to the,
okay.
Oh, for the field goal, probably inside the 35. Yeah, you're correct.
Oh, that's going to be bad. That's going to go against Riverside.
So a 5-yard mark off. Ball back to about the 48-yard line. So Reggie Retzlaff at the top of your screen. Far slot, Rashawn Lacey. J.J. Tucker to the bottom of your screen. Here's Retzlaff throwing. Over the middle. Incomplete. Looking for his brother Reggie, in and out of his hands. And again, it's 4th down.
They were right in that area where if he'd have caught it, he might be talking OT here.
38 seconds to play. No timeouts left. It's 4th and 8. A first down here would stop the clock and allow them to run a quick play. What an effort tonight by the Mounties of Mount Sac, particularly on the defensive side. Jordan in the near slot. Near side is J.J. Tucker for RCC. Retzlaff throwing. Looking down the field for his brother, and he's got it. Reggie Retzlaff has the ball at the 20-yard line. Just dropping it in over his shoulder, an 18-yard pickup, and he gets out of bounds on top of it. So from the 19, well within Mariquin's range, they're going to go for the win here, Jeff.
You have to. You got to go for it. But tell you what, I don't think he's liked his brother ever this much in his entire life. Let's see if he can get the win.
From the 19, 1st and 10. Here comes the pressure. Throwing for the win. Incomplete. He caught the ball, but he caught it out of bounds. That was Rashawn Lacey. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I heard the fans go crazy on that sideline.
So 2 more shots, and then they'll bring out Mariquin to tie it. But could you imagine if Retzlaff could rally the Tigers back against a very formidable defense? Second and 10, line is the 19. Retzlaff. He'll run. He'll throw. Incomplete. Lance Russell on the coverage. He was looking for Alfred Jordan. 3rd and 10. So 1 more shot here, and we'll see Jacob Mariquin. But you know, Reggie Retzlaff and the Tigers want the touchdown. 2 by 2. Retzlaff has time. Now just get rid of it, and they'll bring on Mariquin. So a 36-yard attempt. Mariquin thus far today, 28, 38, and 42. They didn't have a timeout left. That's interesting.
Oh, they did have a timeout left.
So the final timeout called by Mount Sac to ice the kicker, Mariquin, here with 12 and a half seconds to play. So we'll go to overtime.
Yeah, see, but most of the time, and I mean this affectionately, kickers are usually weirdos, so I don't think it affects them as much.
Says the guy with the Ricardo Chavez tattoo.
And I don't mean any disrespect, but you kickers are weirdos. I don't think it's going to ice
That's what makes them good.
I know.
It's like a lefty in baseball. They always got to be a little screwy. So here we go. 27-yard attempt for Mariquin to tie the game with 12 and a half seconds to play. We've got overtime. So 26 apiece with 7 2/3 seconds, or 7 2/10 of a second left in this one. Jacob Mariquin, and what a gutsy drive though there by Jake Retzlaff, converted a couple of fourth downs to get them in field goal range.
And both of them to his brother.
So kickoff here, and I'm guessing RCC will probably pooch it to ensure there's no return. If we go to overtime, ball goes on the 25, you get 4 chances to score. I think in the NCAA, after the second overtime, you got to go for 2. Not sure what it is at this level. We'll figure it out. Well, how about this? Number 3 against number 1. Did you expect any less, Jeff Gorham?
No, this is great football on a Saturday afternoon.
So here's Mariquin. He'll kick it deep. How about that? And he's going to try to bring it out. Hassani Hawkins trying to bring it out. And down he goes with 3 seconds left.
I was a little shocked that they ran that one out. Do you pull out a trick play here and go for the win? Or do you sit on it and let's
Stranger things have happened. That was a pretty big hit at the end of that run. If that ball comes dislodged, all bets are off,
It's
right?
game over.
You can scoop and score on that, yeah.
You just
You either scoop and score, or you recover it and bring Mariquin out. Yeah.
Mariquin, you were just out. Stay on the field, buddy.
Looks like the Mounties will just take a knee here, and they will let the clock expire, and we'll go to overtime. So we're done here. 26-26 after 4 quarters. You ready for a little more football?
Always ready for football.
Now they'll toss the coin again, and then one team will pick if they want the ball first and they want the ball second. They'll alternate possessions after that, meaning that the first team that gets an opportunity, if the game doesn't end in the first overtime, in the second overtime, the other team will have the first possession.
This is where we have scores sometimes in the 70s and 80s. If you can keep scoring. It's like backyard football.
The closest game, Mount Sac, they played 2 close games against Bakersfield and Saddleback. They were both decided by a touchdown. RCC, obviously, they had the thriller against Canyons here a couple of weeks ago on October 1st. That was a 3-point game, 31-28. But that one ended in regulation, did not go to overtime. And the captains now will go out for both teams, and we'll try to turn it around here. So 26-26. It was 16-16 at the half. What's the penalties? Oh, you guys will keep going. So now the team's here at midfield. They'll do a coin flip again. Jay Drury is our referee today.
I like how they shake hands again after the game. I'd be too tired to shake a hand. I'd have to throw my arm up. I'd be too tired.
So Drury explaining the situation here in terms of the coin flip. I think, and again, I'm not sure because they're different rules, but I think if you win, you can pick whatever you want to do. Go on defense or go on offense.
I'm telling them all the rules to the overtime. My question is, what kind of, if that's just a regular coin, or they have like a silver dollar? That's one thing I've always wanted to know. Or is it a ceremonial first coin?
So Mount Sac, Jeff, wins the toss. They're going to start on D, which means RCC will get the first possession here of overtime. No clock.
No clock at all. And you pick the side you want to go towards.
So 4 downs for RCC. If they are unable to score, then Mount Sac will get an opportunity. And if they score, they win. So both teams will get at least one chance. If both teams score, we'll do it all over again, as our dearly departed friend Vince Scully might say.
Then you continue doing it until somebody wins.
From the 25, here's the gift to Strong. Strong finds some room, still on his feet, spinning, and he'll go to the end zone for the touchdown. 25-yard touchdown run by Bryce Strong. His second trip to pay dirt on the afternoon, and that's how we start in the first play of overtime.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that's the best run of the day for that young man.
Tom Kraft had been using the running game pretty effectively all afternoon, and even at the end, the Tigers didn't abandon it, Jeff. So here's Marroquin stepping in. Here's the PAT, and man, has he been perfect or what?
He has been money all. What do you have? Three in the first quarter?
4 field goals, a bunch of touchbacks.
Game ball right there.
And now Mount Sac gets an opportunity to tie. So we're in overtime, 33-26. RCC rallying back. They trailed 26-23, converted a couple of fourth downs for the game-tying field goal, and then they get the first possession of overtime. Bryce Strong takes it 25 yards for a touchdown. First down for Mount Sac. Udengwa double pass. Trick play. Rawls down the field. Touchdown!
Wow.
That's Raven Tribune, the sophomore from Jacksonville. Gets the trick play pass from Xavier Rawls to tie it up.
Now, can you go for 2?
Yes, you can go for 2. They won't. They'll try to tie it here. So both teams scoring on their first play of overtime. So Escada on for the PAT. There's the kick, and it's up and through, and we'll go right back at it. Now, this time through, I believe the Mount Sac offense will take the field first.
Wow. What this is like backyard football right here. They're going to be drawing offenses in the dirt.
So The first overtime, it's 7-7. And now the Mount Sac offense will head back out, as will the RCC defense. So now we'll switch end zones.
There's that double pass. I'll tell you what a perfectly thrown.
Once they got the ball to Rawls, the defense kind of for a second strung out there. It took him a little bit to figure out that he was going to throw it. And that was just all the opening they needed for Raven Tribune to get down into the corner of the end zone. So Rawls split out to the top of your screen, Brewer to the near side. Jaden Allen in the near slot. 1st and 10 from the 25 for Mount Sac. Here comes Allen in motion. They'll give to Boyd running right. And Boyd tackled at about the 23-yard line. Summers there, along with you, Peterson Lewis, DeMarco Moore also in around the football. It's weird. No clock here in the overtime. They're just running plays.
It is bizarre, to say the least. I thought we were going to see a flea flicker or a Statue of Liberty or a bounce pass, something.
2nd down. And you can get a 1st down. Throw over the middle, and it's knocked away, nearly intercepted. Lewin Don Willies thought he had it. 3rd down. I was talking about making plays. You make that play right there. You put yourself in a position to win the game with just a field goal. 3rd and 8. Udengwa calling for the snap. 3rd down. Here comes pressure. Throw to the outside, incomplete. Miles Martin. No, check that. That's Bryce Tate there on the coverage against Tremont Brewer. So here's a field goal coming up.
And then RCC will have a chance.
So 40-yard attempt coming up. Esqueda's been very good today. His longest today has been 42. Snap back, hold down, kick is up. And he missed it wide right. So Esqueda pushes it right. What do we talk about with kickers? How both teams had very good kickers.
Oh.
This could come down to special teams.
We said it at the very get-go in that first quarter. It's going to come down to kicking.
And Mariquin has been so good tonight.
So do you go with Mariquin right now, or do you try to go for the score?
That's a good question. I think they'll probably run a couple plays.
Yeah. See if you can get a little closer. Clock is running down quickly here with 10 seconds on the...
Yeah, there's no game clock. There is still a play clock. I should have pointed that out. Good point, Jeff Gorin. 33-33. Here's the give to Strong. He had the touchdown earlier. Won't get there today, but he's at the 20-yard line. Number 1 against number 3. The best defense in the state against the best passing game in the state. It could come down to the field goal kicker. How about that?
It comes down to the guy, the kooky guy that nobody pays attention to at every practice. If it comes down to that and you got Mariquin as your hero, somebody buy that guy a steak dinner and let him soak his feet in some Epsom salts.
Game-winning kick last year already for Mariquin. Remember that thriller against Cerritos?
That's right. Chavez was down for the count, injured.
Strong again, gets it a little bit closer.
Yeah, somebody needs, I'm serious, it sounds kooky. You take care of that guy. Go buy him a spa day at the Mission Inn to protect his feet.
Now they're going to kick this on 3rd down, meaning that if there's a bad snap, they can just they can just down it and take it. But Mariquin for the win. Jacob Mariquin. A timeout looks like it's going to be called by Mount Sac. So about a 34-yard attempt for the win. No matter how this ends, and I think, it end one way or the other. Actually, it won't end. If he misses, it still won't end. It'll just be another overtime. But what a magnificent football game this has been. Everything it was built to be. Number 1 against number 3, coming down to a second overtime period.
Yeah, we talked about this, at the very beginning of the season. RCC is playing 8 ranked opponents.
Yeah.
And it gets harder and harder and harder as the year went on.
Guys, we're back next week. RCC has Elko here, El Camino, another league game. 36-yard kick for the win. Mariquin. Wide right, but there's a flag. Wide right, but there's a flag.
There is a flag. It's going to go against Riverside. Perfect look from our field goal cam.
So a reprieve for the Mounties. And this time RCC will start on offense. We'll flip to the other side of the field. Overtime number 3. So 7's in the first OT. Goose eggs in the second OT. We go to OT number 3.
Is that the first miss for Mariquin?
On the day, yes.
On the day.
That's
on
a good
the
check.
year. I'm curious to know what he was coming into today on the year.
10 of 11. He missed one. So now they'll need to go for just a 2-point conversion.
Yes.
So overtime number 3.
But is it a touch considered a touchdown?
Yeah, it would be considered a touchdown, but it's
going outside
from the 3. They'll go from the 3. I guess the point I was trying to make is you're
one play.
You're running your 2-point conversion play. Yeah, one play.
And we continue to do this.
Low snap. Knocked down.
Flags.
Aaron Smith knocked that one down for Mount Sac.
That's the flag here. What is...
So a defensive holding on Aaron Smith, and another opportunity for RCC. They'll instead now go from the 1-yard line. They'll move it a little bit closer. Third overtime here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for those of you who stayed with us. Trips to the near side. Jawan Tucker split out to the far side. And the Tigers can't get the play off. They call the timeout though before the shot clock, before the play clock expired. So a lot of drama going on here in the third OT. Both teams opened overtime with touchdowns in the first OT. Second OT featured a couple of missed field goals, and now we're to the 2-yard line. The Tigers were denied, but a penalty gave them an extra opportunity here. Can they make the most of it? That's what these games tend to come down to. When another team gives you an opportunity, can you capitalize?
Yeah, and do you go for the run or do you throw it in? I say you pound it up the middle.
Strong has been pretty good.
He has gotten strong on the evening. He has 142 yards.
That's got to be a career high for him. Coming into the game, the Mounties were only allowing 50 yards per game on the ground.
Averaging 7.
They give to Strong, and he sidles up inside for the touchdown. Third overtime, Strong takes it in. His third touchdown of the game, second touchdown in OT. No laundry, so we'll have the PAT coming up.
I don't believe the score is correct, is it? Wouldn't it be?
Maybe it is a 2.
Okay, so they're just going to.
So one play, here it is. One play for the RCC defense. RCC up by 2. You're right. They have 12 guys on the field. Odengwa to the corner. Incomplete. Now, the Tigers had 12 men on the field. A man raced off, and did he get off in time is the question.
He did not. There was I saw that. I was counting them.
Man, how does that happen coming out of the break like that? And a mental mistake allows another opportunity.
I was patting you on the shoulder.
For Mount Sac. Here we go.
I wasn't sure if I was counting correctly, but I saw 12 guys out there.
35-33 RCC. Moore in motion. Odengwa looking to throw. He's got pressure. He flings it into the corner of the end zone. Intercepted. The win to the Tigers. RCC staves off the upset against Mount Sac. (35-33) the final. RCC survives against Mount Sac. The Mounties gave them everything they had, but Tom Kraft and the Tigers come away with their 7th straight win. They're undefeated here in 2022.
Wow, what a game altogether.
I mean, we weren't in Manila, but this was a thriller, Jeff.
This was one of the better games we've had here at RCC in our years covering.
35-33, we're awaiting Nick Rice. He's going to try to get Tom Kraft as the Tigers escape with a big win here against Mount Sac. Man, the Mounties were game, and the best defense in the state, just that margin of error, 2 points for the win.
Oh, and it came down to the kickers. The kickers could have iced it, but they left it to the players. Man, what a fun game to call and watch and be a part of.
I mean, Bryce Strong with 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, and looks like Nick has Coach Kraft with him.
All right, we're joined by head coach Tom Kraft. What a gutsy 3 overtime win. What are your thoughts of your program right now?
Well, I felt, even though it was tied at halftime, that we were behind. We were making a lot of dumb mistakes. We overcame it, and we showed some resiliency today. We had some guys hurt. We had to fill in. Guys filled in really well today, and we kept our composure enough. But we have to be smarter as a football team. And but I really like the resiliency at the end of the game and the composure.
Right.
Hey, keep that on me.
Coach, I just want to ask you all the questions. This was incredible performance. To see the team with the turnovers you got committed in the first half, see Mount Sac take the lead. This looks like a team with the sort of resolve you really want to come back like that.
Well, at halftime we talked. All I talked about it. We didn't go over any adjustments. It was all about putting a half together like we did against Canyons, and I'm tired of the first half, second half heroics. You know, we've got to put a complete game together. So that's what we're striving for.
So you've talked throughout the year about your need to be more balanced on offense, and your quarterback said that you guys do feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more effective than to begin the year. How do you feel about how you ran the ball today?
Pretty good at times. We got to be more consistent. I think when we get a 15-yard penalty against a team like this, it's tough to get 20 yards for a first down or 15 on third down. So we wanted to stay out of that against them because they're a good football team, and we didn't. We converted a couple, which was the difference in the game. But we still have a lot of work to do. We're striving for balance, and when the defense tells us we've got to run the ball and we got to be able to run it and get the tough yards, and we got them today.
And Coach, moving forward, how do you keep this momentum and keep the guys ready for next week and the rest of the season?
Well, we've got to put a whole week's of practice together. What's tough for us is our facilities, our field, and we can't practice hard because it's wet and damp. And, it's a frustrating thing right now, and we got to get that resolved for the players in their best interest. But we just got to put 4 days of good practice together and keep our focus and our discipline. You know, we go up and down too much, and I think this had an impact on them today. Hopefully they'll learn.
Right. Well, congratulations, Coach. Yep. RCC is 7-0 and ready to finish the season. We'll see how they do, but it was an incredible win for the Tigers today, guys.
Okay.
All right, Coach. All right.
Number 1 against number 3, Jeff. Came down to triple overtime. Bryce Strong gets the winning 2-point conversion for RCC, but a big conversion on 4th down late in the 4th quarter to get the game-tying field goal from Jacob Marroquin. So even a misstep by Jacob Marroquin, they're able to overcome it. What a great matchup, though. The number 1 team in the state against the number 3 team in the state, and it lived up to billing.
Well, it did, in the sense that we saw the best defense all year, which is this Mount Sac team. And I want to say, and jump on Coach Kraft's, what he had said is, hey, they got to play better. We saw parts and pieces where we saw great offense, but we didn't see a complete game.
Yeah, and the injuries, he did mention they lost 3 players during the game that were starters, and that's tough. But hey, Bryce Strong stepped up, Jacob Marroquin stepped up, and when time came, Jake Retzlaff stepped up. And, of course, you got to give some credit to the defense run by James Cook for RCC, as well as giving credit to Mount Sac, who played a whale of a game today. It was just within their reach, and the Tigers kind of were able to overcome a great effort by the Mounties of Mount Sac. So until next week, it'll be El Camino in RCC from here at Ramona High School. For Jeff Gorham, for Nick Rice, and our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew, my name is Ghazal Hassan. We'll talk to you next week. The final today, 35-33, a 3-overtime thriller. The Tigers of RCC knock off the Mount Sac Mounties. So long, everybody.